So, you know, there's still a market for those chips. Not everything has to be 5, 3, and 2 nanometers. We still need basic stuff like, you know, dishwashers, et cetera, microwaves, and all that is where Texas Instruments lives. What's the chart look like? What's your take on it?
TXN is looking pretty good. This chart on Starbucks is looking pretty good as well, too. There, Sharif will throw that in there. We're all out of Starbucks at those lows. But as for TXN, we'll pull it up for you guys before we send it over to the big boys with the FOMC. Now, as for TXN, not the cleanest always, but it was on a pretty hefty green streak, if you ask me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 6 days to the top side, Sharif, and it looks like TXN wants to break through this previous weekly pivot high of $220. So yeah, that's it, guys. I think for us for now, Starbucks was pretty good to us today. We go 1 for 2 on that one, an all-day trender. We take small loss on Palantir, but other than that, Starbucks was that guy today.
All right, guys, it is going to be the Jerome Powell. Don't forget, 2 o'clock. FOMC meeting comes out. Papa gets on the mic at 2:30. So be there because it's going to be a good one. Big boys, that away.
Be there or be square.
Welcome back, everybody. We got better chair Powell.
Oh boy,
look, man, he doesn't get to do this very often. Like, we know we're rolling into the end of an era, right? So while we may not get while we absolutely will not get a rate cut today, what we will get is a chance to pontificate and listen in directly. As usual, you know what's going to happen here. If it's your first time through, just going to let you know, 2 o'clock, we'll get the rate decision. It will be no change. We're up at like 98.9 or 99% at this point that there will be no change. At about 2, you get a statement from the Fed. They'll always contrast it to the last statement. And then at 2:30, you get that Q&A session. That's where you get to see whether this is like I mean, it's a pause, but it's a hawkish pause, dovish pause. That's what everyone is going to want to see. Maybe look at the dot plot as well, and we'll get all the crazy reaction. And of course, after the bell, we stick around because from here, we still have Meta, Microsoft earnings, which are going to be gigantic. I mean, look, it's going to be a wild one for sure, so buckle up. You're locked and loaded. We're in the right spot. The market, while green, has been sliding to the downside for the majority of the day. Has not been the strongest of days whatsoever going into this, but you never really know. We've seen multiple reversions with Powell before. Like, it's like 1 minute he is ripping the market, and then he might reverse it when he hits or leaves the podium. I fully expect you get that whipsaw action again at 2 o'clock, and maybe we'll do a little bit of a quick mean reversion trade, then look for that trend action once he hits that podium.
Yeah, more importantly, today we have an after show, which is going to have all of the earnings. So that should be a good one today for sure. All right, just to let Andre know, in case you didn't see the chat, I don't have an earpiece, so you'll have to get everything through Neil. But yeah, silver continues to move down 1% here today. We're going to watch out for the US dollar. We just tried to support this bottom there. Did not work. Breaks lower now on SLV as it continues to push a little bit here into that. So let's go back over to Adara.
I mean, we're obviously waiting here for the FOMC meeting. It'll be interesting to see if we get any dissenting votes because we recently have had some dissenting votes. But the thing I also wanted to mention here was Spotify, SPOT. The Verge reporting that Spotify saying they paid out $11 billion, or more than $11 billion, rather, to the music industry in 2025. That's up by $1 billion year over year. And they're saying that's roughly 30% of the recording industry's revenue. I only mention it because we had that drop that kind of started around when we got this note. So anyway, Spotify paying out more money year over year to the music industry as we await this FOMC meeting. We're going to come back to me when we have about a minute to go so I can prepare you guys one last time for these numbers. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Thanks, Adara. I mean, that's not that huge news. Hey, it's not as bad as the short report that we got on
what's up with
Carvana. Oh, my goodness. I know it's all about the Fed today.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you said that again. There's you know what? I mean, I usually, look, man, I'll hit the flush. This has not been a good one. But I think you got to put things in perspective for the short report on Carvana. Like, this thing double topped at $480 after, I remember I think the price target back in the day was $2, not $1. But that's, yeah, that's a distinction without a difference. I feel like I say it was $1 every single time, but
I think it was $1.
Was it $1?
I think it was. We could probably look that up. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you just have to keep in mind, like, at one point, this had a price target of $1, got all the way down to the doldrums, and is maybe one of the greatest structured squeezes of all time. So if this is on the beginning of the unraveling, I feel like it minted so many people that, yeah, it's not necessarily the end of the world. I don't know if this is the vehicle to be trading for the Fed, because it's probably going to move to the beat of its own drum. I think looking at the metals today is going to make sense. Bitcoin for myself is something that I was bearish on Bitcoin this morning, and then after the open range broke out, I'm like, okay, if I'm bearish on it, I'll sit it out until we get to said Fed. SLV, on the other hand, my goodness, I've taken 2 trades on this sucker, and they were both trend breaks. Trend break 1 and what I thought was trend break 2. If not for the fact we're getting the Fed decision, I can't make the argument for myself to just be like, oh, just take this trend break here with the bottoming tail. Because we have the Fed at 2 o'clock, that blows up any, I'm just going to take a chart setup at 152. I know 2 o'clock is here. If not for the fact that it was the Fed, I'd be in this one long on this trend break to the downside. But it wasn't just silver. We also had an issue with gold. I mean, GLD was breaking out the highs going into this. Then we failed the top. We're at VWAP. So if you are watching what's happening in silver, you kind of caught that turn off the highs in gold. And then silver, which already wasn't as strong, when it lost the bid and when it loses the bid, it's just going to move more than gold. That's just how it is. So as a trading vehicle, I think most people are going to be looking at intraday silver just because you're going to get more of a move out of it than gold. But you can watch this. You can watch GDX as well. Mike in the chat saying Carvana to 0. 0? We talking about 0?
Might be 0.
No, we're not talking about 0. Carvana's not.
Maybe Carvana's a 0.
I mean,
I hope
look,
not.
it just went 20% down. So
computer's a
$380. Yeah. Oh, you had to restart.
My computer's restarting as we speak.
Well, let's put it this way: even though your computer is needing to restart, it's still doing way better than the chances that Carvana is going to get to 0. Yeah. It's not going to 0. I don't think. Yeah, I think we're overreacting a little bit here, but it could be a nasty unwind if this is only the first salvo of this bad boy. And almost everything gets a dead cat bounce at some point. It's not even. You pull up the daily charts. Yeah, what is this? Oracle? After it made the highs, it's not even one of those. Oracle's actually nastier off the highs. I think you could liken this one to an SMCI pullback. I think would be more likely here. So we've got 5 minutes to go, everybody. And as I said, the expectation, no change, right? So you can have in the back of your mind if there's a 1% chance that we get a cut. If it happens, I think you just immediately punch long like the IWM or Open Door, some crazy small cap or a Rivian, something along those lines. I'd be down with. And I'm only in one position on WBA, WBD, because this thing, yeah. Just so you guys know, we're working on getting Sean's PC up.
You can come over to me. I was just saying, why not get Joe or Sharif? Because why isn't it? I won't be live for 2 o'clock. There's no way.
What's wrong with that PC?
I don't know. It's just restarting and restarting and restarting. I've tried to call IT over here. Maybe if I'm just gonna hard restart it.
Like a hard boot.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it down.
You know what they say? When in doubt, just
yeah, there it is. Okay,
I'm
hard booting it right now. No, I wanted to say something about. Because it's an expected move today, I think you wait to see sort of the reaction, and then you can actually take something from what Obi does, and that is you can sort of counter trade maybe the move, and if you counter traded, Randy, there's absolutely nothing to do, Randy, don't worry about it. I've restarted the PC, hopefully, yeah, I did it, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I blew this thing up. No, I've restarted it, so hopefully now it will work.
Yeah,
but no, I was going to say, if the market does do a dramatic move on a 0 interest rate move, what's expected, then I do think that we should be able to play the other side. Okay, so I'm logging back in now after the hard reboot. Hopefully this will work. What time is it, anyways?
We still have.
We got 4 minutes. Okay, I feel better.
It's tried and true.
I feel better.
You turn it off. You turn it on again, and what can go wrong?
You quickly unplug it and plug her back in. It's that whole log in, log out thing, but I tried that. When you get it's just restarting and it's spinning and spinning.
It sat there restarting for 3 minutes.
Well, Randy, you see my situation here, Randy? This guy, man.
Randy is.
The thing is, now that there's...
Don't leave me hanging, Randy. You're the man.
The problem is, now that everything is done around here, Randy, come on, man. We got to get something else. I got to get a desk for Randy around here. Get him trading. You have a desk? Yeah. I think.
You have a desk. Your desk is bigger than our desk.
Yeah.
What do you mean it is? Randy, we have phones, we go back and take a picture. Just because you have a lot of stuff on the desk to limit the amount of space that's on it doesn't mean it's not a bigger desk. Well, I'm just saying you have a nice desk. You have a lot of stuff on it. Ours is nice and clean.
Yeah, I mean, Randy built these desks. So,
yes, we did a fantastic job.
Thank you, Randy, for...
Look at this. You know how many times I've spilled food on here and you can't even tell? Shoot. No.
There's a lot of food.
The man's saying, he's like, oh, I can tell. No, he can't tell.
All right, we're getting ready to go.
2 minutes to go. Oh, we got a mic now?
Where's Sparky today? No, he's AWOL. Oh, he's AWOL. Okay, I was wondering because I was trying to figure out if he's going to come help.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I thought we had the wireless mic. Why?
We're going to head to the desk, by the way. We have 2 minutes until the decision of no cut.
I feel like this is the one decision here. All right, back to the desk.
Still pretty early here. I just want to remind you guys again, we are expecting no cut. The CME Fed Watch tool was basically seeing we're going to get that 97.2% chance of no cuts, just under 3% chance there that we actually will get a cut. Rates very likely to be held in place. We are looking for that 3.75% decision. Again, about 2 minutes here. Just a reminder of what we're expecting. I'll go back to me. We've got about 30 seconds left, but just a reminder, guys, the real action is going to be at 2:30 p.m. with that FOMC press conference. We do not have any of those economic projection statements coming out here. No SEPs, just the numbers. So Fed press conference at 2:30 p.m. really what we're going to want to watch for.
All right. Also watching out for Bitcoin, like Bitcoin 89.5 right now, trying to dance around a little bit here as we're back locked and loaded. We'll watch the dollar, we'll watch Bitcoin. I'm just going to get all my stuff all set up here with only a minute left. Get ready for most likely zero cut and
I'd say that's safe.
Or a raise. Nothing to see here, but should be a good one anyway. Just moments away. Let me throw it back to Neil, and I'll just get all logged in, and then we're ready to go.
Of course, I know you're joking around when you say the raise, because they're not going to raise.
No.
They're not going to raise rates, and if they were to do a surprise in either direction, you'll know instantaneously. If you're in a position, you'll probably get trailed out or stopped out, or maybe some kind of a crazy spike. We are not expecting anything like that. Oh, Ian, WBD, essentially this finally got close enough to the Netflix bid, which is 27.75. So I just took a mini mean reversion trade on the stock, and it got to almost yesterday's high. So I'm just going to be holding on to this one for the afternoon. It was just a mean revert off the lows on WBD. Probably not going to be a trade this afternoon. As we go to Adara with 20 seconds to go.
Here we go.
Yeah, again, guys, 3.75% forecast, 3.5% previous print. So that does imply, again, we're very likely to get no rate change, just 15 seconds until we get that number. Basically, what I'll do here is I'll give you guys the number. We'll take a look and see how the market is reacting, if at all. And then I'll take a moment to look here how the statements have changed and what the votes actually were. Did we get any dissenting votes? In 1 second now, we're going to get this print. No change, it sounds like, once again. So as expected, no change here for the interest rate decision. Market oscillating a little bit here, but nothing major, no major reaction to that lack of change. Again, what we were expecting here, vote is 10-2. So once again, we did have some dissenting votes. I'm going to look through here, see who dissented, and take a look at the statements. We'll come back to me once I have more info for you guys. Let's see how this market is looking.
All right, well.
Almost no reaction.
Yeah, the ES is red, though, on the day. So, I mean, that's one thing. You can see that this market expected this move to happen, and we still are basically flat. The Nasdaq's not doing a whole heck of a lot either right now. I'm just looking at Intel. We can check out some Apple. We can check out some of the banks. There's really not a whole bunch happening right this moment. 300 back for JP Morgan. I think that's a little bit of a shot up there, up about $1. Here we go. Here's everything going. Silver coming back in as well. We can have a quick little, well, too many fills on silver here, but there it is. Oh, we'll take a short rate at the 50-period moving average on silver. We'll see where this one goes. But yeah, we're short right now on SLV. So this could get blown out again, but we're going to try this as we're going to try to figure out what the US dollar is going again as well. There it is. Right. Whoops. Come on, chart. There's the US dollar is heading to the downside right there. Nice little move quickly. Two dissenters, apparently, Waller and Myron. Let's go over to Adara.
So yeah, I just want to let you guys know again, Waller and Myron both voting for a 25 basis point cut. So Myron voting for a cut, but a little bit more conservative of a cut than he's been voting for as of late. Basically, the statement saying that inflation is still somewhat elevated, the economy expanding at a solid pace, jobs gains are low with unemployment showing signs of stabilization. We know that unemployment concerns have been a big issue here for the Fed. They're also saying that the outlook uncertainty remains elevated, and so they have to attend to both sides of the mandate. Once I get kind of that statement with the words crossed out where we basically see this statement versus the prior statement, I'll show that to you guys, just going through all the information here. But again, 2 dissenting votes. So once again, getting dissenting votes here. This has been the case since, I believe, July of 2025. Back to you.
All right, we are absolutely smoking right now. We are $1 in the money on this short. We wanted to short silver, and there it goes. Hi ho. Finally back in. Let's just see how far this goes down. We just talked about the U.S. dollar. There it goes, ripping to the high side. We've noticed that if you are watching the dollar, silver does react sort of oppo to that. So here we go. Let's figure out what's going on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Here's a banger trade, man. 1 for 1 so far. Earnings, man. We normally can put on some pretty decent options or opportunities with, these are not options, by the way. We trade straight equity, but hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're here every single day. This is the spot to get it. Adair is going to give us all of the updates that is coming through. But it's a banger right here, Mr. Roberts. Boom for silver. Let's go. That's a great short. We're back in the building. Wait till I show you guys my Nvidia fill. Our number 1 trade on the day was a 190 long. We got wicked out by 15 cents, and that sucked. But here we go. It's silver downside right now. The party started over here.
Yeah, the party is definitely started for sure. I want Bitcoin. Did not get it, unfortunately. I did grab out. If you're in a long, my suggestion is you take the profits where it lies. So I'm going to trail the position that I'm already in. There's going to be, trend line is going to be a trail. I don't know if I'll short this because I think it's going to be trading a little bit differently than the norm. Only going long that stock if I can. So IBIT going to play the pop back up, hopefully into the volume weighted average price. As Bitcoin back under the 90,000 mark, we're 89.2. As long as Powell has not done the Q&A at 230, I'm playing off VWAP. Once Powell hits 230, you kind of change the target of whatever it is that you're looking at. So far, so good. I mean, the market heading to the downside makes a little bit of sense to me here. Again, that 10-2, we didn't get anything that shocked us. We were trending down before, so we're trending down now, barring some kind of a drastic change in any of the tone. Adara, what do you see on that note? What language might have changed?
So I'm not seeing any of these changes yet, but I want to talk about the CME FedWatch tool going forward. So 84% of participants here in March expecting that we are going to get rates held. So it's interesting, 0.1% of participants expecting a 50 basis point cut. So that certainly would be interesting if we do get it. Then still here in April, we're expecting a hold. About 72% of participants expecting that we're going to have that rate held. Then only once we get to June do we start seeing some participants expecting a 25 basis point cut. So again, looks like much as we're expecting in the month of, or throughout the spring season. So for the next 2 Fed meetings at least, very unlikely to get any changes. I also just saw here, this is going to be the statement with the words changed. So basically, they're now saying that the economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Before they were saying moderate. They're now saying that job gains have remained rather than slowed down or remained low, sorry. They're saying unemployment has showed subsidence of stabilization. So the biggest thing we're seeing here is less concern about the employment space. They're also saying that the committee is attentive to the risks of both sides of the mandate, but they're now saying they're crossing out the fact that downside risks have risen in recent months with regards to employment. Again, mentioning here the rate being held steady. Biggest change here, though, is actually just the fact that we have this vote. Once again, 2 participants voting for 25 basis point cut, the rest here voting to keep rates steady. So very few changes here. Just the gist of it is the Fed less concerned about employment stabilization than prior. Back to you.
Well, we know 1 dissent, obviously. And by the way, remember Myron is temporary, and the term expires for Myron on Saturday, right?
So he could be kept on for longer.
So he could be kept on
Yes.
until they have a replacement. Is that the case?
Yeah, so because he's filled in for Kugler's term because Kugler left before some improprieties could be discovered. And so Kugler's term would have expired. That's true. I'm not even speculating. And so that term would have expired on January 31st. Now, because he's set to fill a term, he could be kept on for longer. It's, as of this point, unclear if that's going to be the case. But Fed Bostic's term also expires on Saturday. That's because he actually decided he would retire or quit, sorry. And so he's not going to be coming back. Bostic for sure.
Can you tell that is the Super Bowl for Adara? Yeah, improprieties is one way to look at it for sure. No, IBIT finally got it. Like you saw that whipsaw action, so it's playing into VWAP, and it's only been like 5 minutes, but we played into VWAP, right back, looking to play the range as long as it holds and as long as Big Papa Powell isn't on that podium. Don't get to say that one for too long. I don't know what we're going to call. Well, it's not going to be Warsh at this point. I think, look, whatever. It's
who knows?
Rick Riedler seems like
back and forth.
Yeah, Riedler was at like 42%, and I think it was like 40 to 30. So they're still up in the air. We'll have to come up with a fun nickname for Rick. Ravishing Rick Reader.
Yeah, I've said that before. I have people look up Rick Rude and all
Rick
that.
Rude is a good one. I don't know.
Ravishing Rick. Yeah, that's not a bad name. I've been
on the nose.
Yeah, who knows? That's pretty appropriate though. We've been just waiting for something to happen here. I'm bidding in the 20s again. I was covering a little bit here on silver. I mean, watching this U.S. dollar try to tick down a little bit. There's a cover. We just got 28. So hopefully we can fall back in. I'm also bidding in the teens there, but I don't know. We're now out of half of this position of silver. We did have a nice move down. I wasn't sure if it was going to continue to extend out. We had written down earlier that we liked the $100 bottom there on SLV. But let's just go quickly and have a quick look to see what is moving and what isn't with this kind of a presentation. We're going to see Powell in a couple minutes. 2:30, he's going to be taking questions, has a prepared speech. It's Nvidia 1.7%. I don't even want to talk about that name. Apple 1.14, Broadcom, little downside action. Micron keeps that story kicking with SanDisk and Western Digital days away from their report. Intel, wow, 10 points on Intel, up 10%. This morning when Palantir was down 1%, I said, look out below for PLTR. That name is making me look smart for some reason. There goes Palantir to the downside, so we sort of called that one. Eli Lilly, the health technology is not doing very well today. Producer manufacturing is okay. The financials, this is going to be an interesting spot. I mean, they pulled back about 10% or so off of their earnings. We have Visa coming tomorrow with Apple. That should be kind of interesting considering that we have that cap on those rates there, potentially for credit cards. Be interesting to hear what they have to say about that. Wells Fargo, downside. Bank of America, of course, big credit card names. Capital One, up 2%. So that's kind of like a pure play there. But it's JP Morgan down to, it's just $300 for JPM. So that's going to be an interesting look there as well. But yeah, name that report's on Friday too, or the 30th. 29 is, what day is today? Wednesday? SoFi, yeah. So that's what I was looking for right there.
It hasn't been so fly today.
No, it broke. I didn't know if it broke 25 yet, but that was, 24.80 there. So down 2%. So yeah, SoFi can't catch a bid over the last, I don't know, month or so. Like there's been maybe 3 or 4 up days. That was a nice little bounce back, but then it just gave it all back right there. SoFi right here just hitting the dirt right now, down to that downside. So hopefully it won't get buried there, but gold also right now, not doing much. Silver and gold both kind of hovering, right? We were just in the money nicely there again on silver, and now it's just right back to flat. So we're going to get out if it does overtake this top end here, breaking through 102. So we'll give it a go. We made a little bit of money there. No matter what, we won't, like we'll only lose 30 cents. Our best outs are down here, almost $1 or so. So we should be about flat if we wind up losing on this trade, but I'm going to wait. Basically, it looks like now it's getting going here. US dollar getting a little weaker. Could watch out for silver, but we're still down here trying to get a little bit of a bid there. Yeah, SoFi mooning, that would be nice. I think a lot of us.
No, it's not mooning.
No, I know it's not, but I think that would be nice if it was. But.
No, I actually think SoFi, we'll see what happens today, but a close underneath 25 would be really bad. Would be really bad for SoFi. The good news is you have earnings, so like the price action today doesn't really matter because you get the report on Friday, and then that's just going to settle all things ultimately. With SoFi. So yeah, we're still hanging inside of the range. That's true on Bitcoin. When you look at what's happening with the Nasdaq, look at the Nasdaq from the low to the volume weighted average price, and we are still inside of that range for the Qs. You're going to see the same thing when you're looking at the SPY. The only difference is it's just a little bit lower in the range. Actually, still red. Still red on the session, despite a little bit of a bump off of these lows. So ultimately, with about 20 minutes to go until we get Powell on the podium, we got what was expected, and then we just essentially had a little bit of a shake. So you do like that little scalp inside of the range, and then we'll look for hopefully the real. I hate to use the term the real moon, but it almost seems like that's what the Fed is. Like the real bigger action tends to happen after 2:30 before we take you into the earnings. Even Nvidia here couldn't break the high, couldn't break the volume weighted average price. So it's like the reverse of the overall market. Yeah, kind of crazy that. I don't want to say Powell's going to go out with a whimper, but
Well, I mean, there's nothing he can do.
It's like he's not doing, like he doesn't
only
the
2
market.
dissents,
Like remember a couple of days ago, we get the president effectively just framework of agreement. Was it framework? What was the exact wording? Yeah, it was framework of a Greenland deal,
yeah.
And we go absolutely ham. Or a True Social post about like not even Iraq, and then things went absolutely ham yesterday. Yeah, it seems like Powell's not moving us like that.
Well, the only thing, there goes silver, by the way, breaking through 202. So the only thing that Powell could really do is try to change maybe the way he speaks and what he's talking about when he hits the podium. So we'll just, I think jobs is going to be somewhat important. We'll see if there's any talk about the current landscape of that, what he thinks possibly of tariffs, because we're still waiting for that Supreme Court to make a decision at some point there regarding the tariffs. So there's that as an issue here. But we wrote down on our sticky note today, Nvidia, right, 190. So this is what happened when we were, oopsies, NVDA. We were gone and we put our stop order in, and of course, it basically ran that completely. There's our 190 bid. We got 190.20s. There's the out at 189.90 or so. The low of the day on this is like 189, like it's by 3 cents. But anyways, Nvidia kicking higher rate. Now, silver just dancing. We were basically flat on that trade. I think we maybe lost $10 or so on our silver trade. So we went downside, then we went upside on SLV. All right, what's up, Adara?
Yeah, I don't have any, unfortunately, no news for you guys with regards to the Fed right now. Of course, we're not going to get anything here till about 2:30 p.m., so 18 more minutes. But it is worth noting, I'm seeing some sources report, or I guess some people saying that there are reports saying that the White House is going to be meeting banking and crypto executives on Monday to discuss crypto regulations. Apparently, stablecoin bill will be brought up, so keep an eye here on CRCL. Getting a nice pop here. CRCL, of course, also got an upgrade this morning. So Circle, Coinbase, potentially Robinhood going to be on watch here again as the White House reportedly meeting with banking and crypto execs on Monday to discuss crypto legislation. It's very worth betting that Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong will be there because he's been very much involved in this whole thing. Back to you.
Yeah, and there's also been talk, well, actually, there was a story. It was Tether that was going to start putting some of their reserves into gold.
Right.
Was the announcement there. Oh, the other thing is, sorry, H&R Block, as if AI wasn't cleaning your clock, Robinhood wants to get into tax filing as well. So I just feel like there's certain business. I remember, look, when AI first came in, one of the first things that I thought of, I took accounting in first year, was, oh man, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't doing what they did before with regards to taxes, because easy just got even easier for like 80% of the population that we're filing is super simple. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's 80% is probably really conservative, to be honest with you. It's probably like 90% of the people that file are going to be using AI or some form of it in the next few years. Maybe H&R Block can leverage that. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think software as a service is
in trouble.
No, not in trouble.
It depends on.
I think that's the way to go right now.
Some doing it better than others is maybe the better way to put that.
The thing is, the tax code is so complicated that you have to, I don't think you can just like throw your taxes into ChatGPT or anything. There's going to be little applications that you're going to want to trust.
Your tax code in the U.S., by the way, that's complicated.
Yeah, tax codes are not great. Okay, so I don't know, what name you guys want us to look at? We could check out Robinhood here. I mean, on that crypto news, I don't know. Robinhood goes with ebbs and flows of crypto. We've already called a $100 bid on Robinhood at some point, and man, it's coming way back in. Like, Robinhood's down 50%, more than, it's down 50 on 150, so it's down about 35 or 40% here as we try to breach this 200-period moving average. Robinhood, yeah, looking pretty ugly right now. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, just so you guys know here, I mentioned this earlier on the midday, not too much of a move on some of these stocks, but keep an eye on some of these uranium and critical metals plays. Or critical minerals plays rather. DOE, Department of Energy, announcing a realignment of critical minerals program. I indicated that CNBC had reported something like this was going to happen. This announcement did in fact happen. So again, Department of Energy, DOE, announcing a realignment of critical minerals program. If I get more details on what this is, I'll keep you posted. But some of these uranium plays were initially flagged for this when I first saw this reported. At day's highs. Back to you.
Hey, so M Hunter Trading in the chat. First off, I love your energy, and we should look at gold, and we will look at gold. But there's an easy way to get everybody's attention and make sure that the symbols that you're interested in, the names, the discussion can be on topic that you would like. And I might just restart this because we don't need. Feed had an unbelievable day today, but I'm going to refresh this. You type $symbol. I just go $GLD. And see, GLD's already popped up. Someone got there faster than me. Y'all are quick. Someone put in SIA, there's gold, there's BTC, Tesla, Bloom Energy. And so if you're in the chat, you have to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So hit the like, hit the subscribe button, jump in here. And when a lot of people start putting it, see how it gets all powered up like that? The Tesla hitting the top already, they report earnings after the bell, and now all of a sudden gold's up top. And we're always monitoring this, so we know if you guys are excited about it by looking into the chat or looking at GLD as we speak, which is trying to reverse the entirety of the move. This does make me realize, I don't know if I want to reload this on Bitcoin. A, there was news. B, you're starting to creep back up there in the markets. And we have a super chat as well. Apologies.
Ooh, good.
Throw that one up there if you can. Can you chart Intel, please, says Robert Lewis.
Can you dig it?
Thank you for the super chat.
Up 10%. I mean, up 11%. I mean, what a crazy earnings report that was.
Oh, my goodness.
$55 down to $42.
I think sometimes it just comes down to the fact that if the U.S. government's betting on it and Nvidia is betting on it, then you shouldn't bet against it. Even with that insane pullback, it doesn't even care. It pulled right into 42. I thought maybe we're going a little deeper. Every pullback has been losing the 50 pre-moving average. So I know 99.9% chance that what I said live was, hey, let this pullback test here, and once it gets under 40, gobble, 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 because that's where you've been able to buy the stock. Unfortunately for dip buyers like myself, I might have sold some, but we ain't get any back in. And it's way too much diddling in the middle for me to like it up here as an entry. The $50 level, I feel like that's a big one, and maybe you could gravitate toward that, but I think you're going to find some resistance this week going into 50. Obviously, we're going to get into the tail end of the week here on Friday. If it hasn't broken it by then, it's always trouble doing so at the end of a week. So I think you're kind of in no man's land if you're chasing this move. Like, it was just consolidated day yesterday. Like, that was your chance, or at the open yesterday. I bungled the dip buy. That's my bad. That's my ugly trade of the day. And the reason why is it bounced here, and I just threw the stop at the prior bar low, and guess what it didn't break? It didn't actually break that low. So sometimes you just throw a bad stop, but you take the good with the bad. Like, sometimes you get the mean revert and it works, and sometimes you get the mean revert and it doesn't work. But I'm not chasing Intel up here, too close to the 50 level. I was looking for something closer to $40 for the dip buy. Congrats if you bought that 42.
Yeah, Darryl, what's up with StubHub here? StubHub, basically a straight line upside right here was StubHub now. So there it goes, StubHub. Are they getting into the silver game or something? But there it goes. It reminds me of GameStop and all those guys. We're having a Bitcoin treasury because StubHub is, I mean, unless there's some sort of, new legislation or something, I don't know. Like, StubHub has been a pretty beat up IPO, man. But I guess bouncing off $10 is something, up 60% off its lows. So what am I talking about? But we were only at $14 earlier. Yes, go ahead.
Not seeing anything huge here, though there was a press release yesterday about their naming the NFL's most loyal fans ahead of the Super Bowl. So this could be like a Super Bowl ticket type play, though that is incredibly speculative on my part.
Yeah, it seems Super Bowl is still 2 weeks away, a week and a half away. So, but yeah, maybe.
Oh, someone's getting a free ticket.
StubHub feeling a little bit good about things right now. So up to $16, up 17%. Another runner today was Feed. We talked about that a little bit. That's just really going now, man. Up 110%. They've been sponsoring our program. You can find more information, link in description about Feed, and just popping there today. So good on you right there. Let's go check out, I don't know, I haven't called up AMD at all today. 250 again, good spot for AMD, but this is a downside push for sure. I'd written down again today, if you're joining for the first time, thank you so much. We're gonna be doing this every Fed. Tonight we're going all the way into 4 o'clock. We'll have you impressed with Adara? We're gonna have the earnings calls where Neil, myself, Brendan, and Adara will all be going over everything. There's Nvidia 190 long. We actually wrote down silver long to $100. That's basically the bottom, and we played the short into that. The TQ's 57, and then IBIT. Actually, we didn't even look too much at crypto here since this has been happening. 89.4, so IBIT since 2 p.m. Again, with an expected move. I don't expect like these things. Oops, that's a TQ's. What just happened there? All right, there's IBIT. So yeah, pretty choppy. I mean, the big spike at 2 p.m. as if, or no, that was even, oh no, that was probably on the announcement of the bill that the guys are getting together to meet next week to talk about that proposed crypto bill there. So Yeah, we talked about Circle moving around. So yeah, so anyways, it doesn't look like Bitcoin's moving too much on that.
Coin's moving.
Is Coin? Yeah, Coinbase did not like the first round there of that. And that's why Coinbase has been getting hit to the downside. There's something about the yield that they can offer on USDC and whatnot. Okay,
Coinbase chart's still broken.
Yeah. We just got another short.
Yeah, coin in the weekly is still broken. I don't see why you're not waiting till. I mean, if we're being patient about this on Coinbase, like why not wait till it gets into like the 160 to 180 range, somewhere down there? Because your support's at 140. Like if you buy here, what are you risking? 30%? Yikes, yuck, and a whole lot of other stuff you ain't ever heard of. Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like what's going on with that stock. Not even close for Coinbase. Look, now that things have calmed down after that story, I will reload IBIT at VWAP. Again, if you hear a headline when you're in position, it's like, is it being affected? It's not really affecting the stock whatsoever. It doesn't seem. We're still inside the range with 10 minutes until Powell starts answering questions.
Powell Owl.
Powell?
Well, how come we never called him Powell the Owl ever? Like, I don't know. We should have. Yeah, he hooting about. All right, so yes. That's it. Finally. All right, we're back in the building one more time. There goes SLV. Huge move. We just shorted it off of VWAP, man. I mean, I'm trying to trade. I'm trying to do what I said, and that was basically, if it's going to come out as zeros, let's just continue to trade this thing, you know, like it was normal. I mean, I'm watching the U.S. dollar rate here as it continues to climb higher. We do see silver dropping a little bit there. It's not the dramatic like 1-to-1 ratio or anything here what we're dealing with. But if this continues to fall, let's just try to see if we can get back into 101 now. We've done a bunch of covers. I really like to cover these things at the 21 period moving average. So we did a bunch of buying here at 20, and then that bottom is 102, and we just got to fill there at 102.10. So hopefully we can break that. And then I really do think we should be patient and wait for 101.70. So let's put a 101.70 in right now. Let's go 101.80. Just in case we miss it again. I don't want to be woe is me again. So here we go. If that comes in, we'll put a 101.80. If that hits, fine. Our stop is 103. Now, well traded. We have less than half now of this move. We have about 40%. So that's completely fine by me, man. If we're going to lose 18 cents on this trade, we can do that. Let's hold and see if VWAP wants to do something. Maybe the dollar starts to climb up a little bit. We were looking at gold. You guys had mentioned that earlier. We can have another look. We can also look some of the energy plays, you know, OIH, the oil holders. We can go have a quick look to see if this is doing anything right now. Down 2%. I guess could zoom back out a little bit just to see what that movement's. Yeah, nothing over here. We could check out XLE as well in the energy State Street sector. XLE Spider right there, not doing a whole heck of a lot either. They did get a dip down just before the interest rate decision there, and then it just pumped right back up, and as you can see now, we level off, so nothing really going on there. We had to look at Bitcoin, Neil's in that, nothing going on there. So yeah, so I just continue to trade silver. Oh, Weeble, maybe someone looking at that. The Russell should be. You would think it would be moving. The Russell's been breaking out already.
Just not today. Today, look, in the last 15 minutes or 20 minutes, the Russell has a very, very tiny range. But if you're like 30-cent range, but it's a $260 name, obviously. So it's not doing anything. It has been leading the charge, but the last 3 sessions has been an absolute nothing burger on the Russell. I just paid for locates on StubHub, because they were relatively cheap. Maybe if you're, I don't know, every broker.
Oh, there it is. Ticketmaster faces a lawsuit.
Yeah, Ticketmaster facing a lawsuit, which is a good advantage for, I guess advantage for StubHub. But I'm looking for a mean revert here. Like this is going parabolic to the upside. And I could draw you a trend line when it's that steep, but suffice to say this candle is breaking it as we speak. You can visually see that. So the top's about 16.25. If it can hold here right at the 16 to 16.10 level, kind of confirm this candle closes in like 1 minute or so, I'll look short somewhere 16 to 16.10, give it to the top, and try to play a mean reversion there. Nothing against StubHub. I just feel like that's a little bit too far, too fast for Stub. Palantir's still losing. Did we ever figure out, is it just a sentiment thing for Palantir?
I don't know. I was looking this morning and I was like, oh my God, it was down in the pre-market. So I just thought Palantir continued to go down. I mean, maybe defense spending, someone talking about that. Yeah, let's go back over. Thank you, Denise. But let's go back over to Adara.
Sorry about that, Randy. I want to talk about Meta quickly. WhatsApp reportedly to start charging AI chatbots to operate in Italy. TechCrunch reporting this again hours ahead of Meta's earnings report. I do have earnings previews available for Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla. They're all going to be an X at TTV Research. We have 5 minutes, now 4 minutes until that FOMC press conference with Fed Chair Powell. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll cover all of that for you right here. Back to you.
I'm too hot in here for coffee.
I didn't see, was that?
No, Randy was up in here the whole time.
I didn't even see Randy there. Yeah, good. Thank you for booting him away. Maybe there's actually something for him to do around
Poor
here.
Randy.
Poor Randy. That's it. Okay, so I just asked him for a coffee, but I wish I would have seen him in person there, and I would have asked him. I'm going to bid a 19. Okay, well, I just bid a 19 to get out of a little bit there. I'm still waiting for that 101.80. Hopefully that will come in, and then we'll get out of a quarter of what we have left. We only have 40% left of this trade right now, but let's see if it can continue to cook to the downside right now. 70 cents in the money on this one. Neil's got Warner Brothers. I assume there's nothing going on there. Oh, but we can actually look at, well, I shouldn't assume
Netflix
that.
is trending down. No, Warner Brothers was, I trade trend reversions. I didn't,
okay.
Like, I just don't care where the reversion happens.
I didn't know if something had happened with it. Oh yeah, that's a good move.
Yeah, it was a trend. It was like a trend breakdown. It was like minute. Like, essentially, I just went long at 97 here, and it had to stop at 90. Like, I'm literally at 95. Played it to VWAP, played it to here, and then you zoom out. Like, I'm kind of, you know, I play it to the volume weighted average price, then I play it to this resistance in there, then I play it to these lows underneath there, then to here, and then kind of looking for it to break out 83s and maybe get to 285. But I will maintain this. I've been that dude that's been saying every time WBD gets to 29 bucks, look for a short, because there's no sign that it's not going to be the Netflix deal, which is $27.75, and the $30 offer right now is just pie in the sky. So that's all you can, you're just hoping that you get that. So every time it gets to 29, I feel like you're selling that thing. So StubHub, I couldn't get filled at 16. So that's where I would have liked the position. Unfortunately, it came down, it broke the trend heavy. Took some in the 80s, but I wanted this thing at 16 even, so is what it is. If it pulls back, VWAP is gonna be a thing. Let me zoom out a little. Oh, that's a 3 minutes as far as it's gonna go, so I'll go to a 15 so you can see here. About 15.30, if it bounces off 15.30 or in between 15 and 15.30, that's where I'd look for the exit on StubHub. So yeah, it's obviously a positive headline if their competitor is facing a lawsuit, but there's only so far I think it needs to go. Like StubHub here. Actually, that's not a bad chart. That's not a bad chart at all, StubHub, if you had it at 14. Yeah, not too bad at all. I actually kind of don't mind that. They made bank in the World Series here. Look, nobody that was selling tickets in the World Series should be complaining about it.
I mean, wait till you see the World Cup, how much.
I know, no, I know, like, we have friends that did that, because they get it on both ends. Like, if you scalp your tickets, they take it from you as the seller, and they take their percentage in both ways, right? They're skimming off both sides. It's a great business to be in.
We have this Hulkation here. I don't know, KXI editor. I don't know if there's anything going on here. KXI. I think maybe you've already mentioned it.
What the heck is
KXI in one halt, another halt.
They've done this before. I recognize the ticker right away. I don't have any news on them, though.
Yeah, I knew we talked about this before. And I'm not seeing any news either, but what we can do is quickly go over and show you guys that this is halting right now. This is what my computer is basically doing. It's just chilling out for a minute. All right, so it's only 9% short float. The float is only 700,000 shares. So that's a very, very big problem right now for anybody that's short this name. If they start to blow this out, man, this could get real nasty. Its tap right now is $22 though. That's where it halted. So we're gonna have to get this all settled out where this is gonna open at some point. Vacation right now, nice upside play. Only 700,000 shares out. And it's 4.7 million today, Dara.
Yeah, I have multiple streams ready here for Fed Chair Powell. He is on any moment. What he does is prepared remarks, so I'll go over those first. I'll read through those. I'll summarize them for you. Once he starts doing the Q&A, I will let you know. I also have to announce a brand new infographic here. This is how the Feds voted. So 10 Feds in favor, 2 against. I'm going to drop this link in the chat so you guys can see visualized our Fed votes, because I like having a visualization of who the Feds are. Powell's talking now. Back to you.
Okay, the press conference has begun. Well, I don't see him at the podium yet. Oh, he's walking out. He's literally walking up to the podium.
There he is.
Speak. Powell,
thank you.
Coffee.
I was just messaging you. I was like, we didn't even know that you were here. And then the chat's like, Randy's right behind you. And I was like, what?
He just lingers like that. If there's no motion,
Randy.
it's hard. You're focused on the screens.
That was funny.
Okay, so we're going to have Powell live so that you guys can hear, and we'll break in if there's anything big. But the Chairman Powell for one of the last.
Ooh.
No?
No?
No audio yet? Well, okay. Will you let us know when you have the audio? Right now you guys can read, obviously. Usually what ends up happening, you get that prepared statement, and you kind of know where he's going to start. Then we get the Q&A a little bit later. So, yeah, he literally walked on stage. There was a reload inside of the range for you to take advantage of, at least on IBIT. It got to VWAP and we were able to take some profit. But,
Here's my cat. This is my cat, the cat that we rescued.
Oh, my
This
goodness.
is Ali. So she is amazing. You have no idea. Marissa has trained this thing. It comes on call, on demand, everything. And it hangs out in the laundry basket a lot. So shout out to Ali right there. Okay, we're going to get that up for you. That's a wicked picture. I'm going to send that to Obi. He's a cat guy. So.
That is a great, that's like a
Yeah, we rescued that cat.
level picture.
Oh, picture, yeah, that's
Okay,
Marissa. Okay, here we go.
Consumers have been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. The temporary shutdown of the federal government likely weighed on economic activity last quarter, but these effects should be reversed as the reopening boosts growth this quarter. In the labor market, indicators suggest that conditions may be stabilizing after a period of gradual softening. The unemployment rate was 4.4% in December and has changed little in recent months. Job gains have remained low. Total non-farm payrolls declined at an average pace of 22,000 per month over the last 3 months. Excluding government employment, private payrolls rose at an average pace of 29,000 per month. A good part of the slowing in the pace of job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. Other indicators, including openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, show little change in recent months. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.9% over the 12 months ending in December, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.0%. These elevated readings largely reflect inflation in the goods sector, which has been boosted by the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing in the services sector. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have declined from last year's peaks, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5% to 3.75%. Since last September, we have lowered our policy rate 75 basis points, or 0.75 of a percentage point, bringing it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral. This normalization of our policy stance should help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2%, once the effects of tariff increases have passed through. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We at the Fed will continue to do our jobs with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Hi, Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. Thank you. I wanted to ask that, you attended the Supreme Court hearing last week on the Lisa Cook case, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized that as political. Can you say why you attended and what you would say in response to the Secretary's criticism?
So let me start with, I don't respond to comments by other officials, whoever they may be. It's just not appropriate to do that. I will tell you why I attended. I would say that that case is perhaps the most important legal case in the Fed's 113-year history. And as I thought about it, I thought might be hard to explain why I didn't attend. In addition, Paul Volcker went to a Supreme Court case famously in, I guess, 1985 or so. So it's precedented, and I thought it was an appropriate thing, and I did it.
Great. And then just quickly follow on the job market. You mentioned last month that the household survey might be distorted, and you also mentioned the potential for overcounting jobs, which would suggest that we're still in a negative hiring pace. So do you see the drop in the unemployment rate as solid? And what's the basis for saying that things have stabilized? Thank you.
So, yeah, really two questions. One is, so we're getting through the distortions in the data from the shutdown. However big they were in November, they're smaller in December. So we're getting to a place where they're no longer material. They're still there, but it's a tweak here and there. The reason why we changed the statement, let me pull it out, was simply, it used to say that judges that downside risks to employment rose in recent months. So we saw, data coming in which suggests some signs of stabilization. I wouldn't go too far with that, but some signs of stabilization. There are also some signs of continued cooling. And so we thought that was no longer an accurate description of the data. In addition, the outlook for economic activity has clearly improved since the last meeting, and that should matter for labor demand and for employment over time. So for those two reasons, we thought we would take that language out of the statement.
Nick Timmeros, The Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, you've generally avoided engaging with political controversies directly, and the video statement on January 11th was a departure. What made this different, and are you concerned it could draw the institution further into political debates?
So today I'm simply going to refer you to the statement that I made on January 11. I'm not going to expand on it or repeat it. So I'm just not going to. This is really about the press conference and the economy and what we did today, and some ancillary areas, but I'm not going to be getting into that.
Can you say whether the Fed has responded to the subpoenas?
I have nothing for you on that today.
Mike.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio TV. Have you made a decision on whether you would remain as a governor of the Federal Reserve? And if so, would you tell us what it is? And if not, when might we anticipate a decision?
No, and I really, once again, have nothing for you on that today. That either.
Why would you want to leave it all under the circumstances?
Again, I don't want to get into this. It's not something there's a time and place for these questions, but not something I'm going to be getting into today. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Jones, Financial Times. Thanks a lot for taking my questions. In another one that might, lead to a similar answer. We've seen quite big movements in the dollar over recent days. What do you think is driving the U.S. currency lower? And have you been at all concerned just by the extent of the volatility we've seen this week? Thank you.
So, Claire, as you probably know, we don't comment on the dollar. Really, the administration, especially the Treasury Department, has the job of oversight over the currency and exchange rates and all that. We don't comment on that. It's not our role. So I have nothing for you.
But, I mean, what's your view on the market movements? I mean, what do you think behind them? Is it asset managers diversifying? Is it?
Yeah, I just don't. We don't talk about the dollar. We don't talk about what moves it around. It's just not appropriate for us to do so. Really, the Treasury Department has that. It's their role, their bailiwick, and we stay off it. We do monetary policy and some other things, but we don't comment on the dollar. Sorry.
Neil.
Hi, Chair Powell. Neil Irwin with Axios. Obviously, no SEP in this meeting, but in light of the slight firming up of the language around growth in the labor market in the statement, should we assume that the timeline for any further rate cuts is pushed back compared to what people might have thought in December?
Well, first of all, if you look at the incoming data since the last meeting, clear improvement in the outlook for growth. The data have come in, and sentiment, the beige book, everything comes in suggesting that this year starts off on a solid footing for growth. Inflation performed about as expected, and as I mentioned, some of the labor market data came in suggesting we're evidence of stabilization. So it's overall a stronger forecast, really, if that's your question. I'm not sure I answered your question.
But in terms of timing or pacing of any additional easing?
So we haven't made, what we'd say about this was that after this meeting, after the 3 recent rate cuts, we're well positioned to address the risks that we face on both sides of our dual mandate, and we'll continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting based on the incoming data, the implications for and the outlook and the balance of risks. Haven't made any decisions about future meetings, but the economy is growing at a solid pace. The unemployment rate has been broadly stable, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. So we'll be looking to our goal variables and letting the data light the way for us.
Steve.
Steve Leisman, CNBC, and sticking with questions you might answer. Thank you. You had previously, I believe, described the current policy rate being at the higher end of neutral. And if you look at the longer run, the SEP and the longer run rate, 16 of 19 officials are actually below there on their long run. Is the Fed still in a process of bringing it down towards a middle range of neutral? And what would it take to get there?
So the count I did was that 4 of the 19 were at or above that. Maybe I missed by 1, but I thought it was 4. And if you look at the dealer survey, it was 10 out of 58 where we're at or above. So you're right. It's the higher end of the range. What we say is it's within the range of plausible estimates. This is the higher end of that range, but so for some people they think it's neutral. I think, and many of my colleagues think, it's hard to look at the incoming data and say that policy's significantly restrictive at this time. It may be sort of loosely neutral, or it may be somewhat restrictive. It's in the eye of the beholder, and of course no one knows with any precision. So is that, you got to follow up?
I get what you're saying, but some officials have described the Fed being in a mode of bringing it down eventually over time. Are you still in that mode, or is this a place to hang out?
Yeah, no, I would say if you look at the SEP from December, most people had additional normalization. But at the same time, we've done a lot of the process of normalizing. A good piece of it is done with 75 basis points, and before that, 100. It's 175 basis points we've cut since we began cutting in September of 2024. So you've moved now to, Fed funds is running just a little below 3.65%. So you've moved a good way, and we think we're well positioned here to watch how the economy performs, look at the data. We're not making decisions about future meetings, but we do think we're well positioned after those 3 cuts to let the data speak to us.
Amira.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Mara Mokwe from Bloomberg News. To what extent did the committee discuss the possibility of cutting at this meeting or in March? And how are you all thinking about the conditions that would merit another rate cut? Is there broad agreement on the committee about what it would take?
So there was broad support on the committee for holding today. Broad, I would say, including among non-voters. So that's where that was. Of course, some people did want to cut and dissented, but committee pretty broadly for holding today. we're not trying to articulate a test for when to next cut or whether to cut at the next meeting. What we're saying is we're well positioned as we make decisions meeting by meeting, looking at the incoming data, evolving outlook, and all that. And we're in a position where we still have some tension between employment and inflation, but it's less than it was. I think that the upside risks to inflation and the downside risks have probably both diminished a bit. So, we'll be looking at that. It's about how you weigh the risks to the two goals and how big those, and quantify them. And so there are different views on the committee, and, we'll find our way forward as the data evolve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. Has the effects of tariffs already moved through the economy on prices?
A lot of it has. So basically, there are many different estimates, and they're all highly uncertain. But most of the overrun in goods prices is from tariffs. And that's actually good news, because if it weren't from tariffs, it might mean it's from demand, and that's a harder problem to solve. We do think tariffs are likely to move through and be a one-time price increase. So most of the overshoot, if you were to take that out, inflation, core PCE inflation is running just a bit above 2%, x the effects of tariffs on goods. And the other good news is, if you look away from goods and look at services, you do see ongoing disinflation in all the categories of services. So that's a healthy development. So that's what's going on. The expectation is that we will see the effects of tariffs flowing through goods prices, peaking, and then starting to come down, assuming there are no new.
All right. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, he's talking about tariffs now. I think that's a part that a lot of people were interested in a little bit. Did anything catch your eye there? Yeah, I mean, he was obviously the first couple questions about his departure. Didn't like to answer those.
Comfortable in the position that they're in, I think. That's going to probably lend credence to. Yeah, I'm expecting we're going to still see wait till June as the overwhelming. If I'm just sort of reading between the lines here, wait till June. That's what the market was pricing in for the first cut. And then maybe we get another one in December. I'm not seeing anything that would change that at this particular point, ultimately. But I am watching. So, I don't know, you might have already seen, gold has been trending up and silver has been trending up. The Nasdaq has been trending up. Silver's trying to break this trend line. But the dollar has been blasting back and forth.
It was down initially, and now it's kind of bouncing around. I think someone asked him about the what it's looking like, the cuts moving forward, and I think he was saying that there was really no indication that they were going to start to cut. And I think that's the point about your June talk there, maybe till middle of the year. So I think we'll be in a very, very similar rate spot for at least the next couple months. So very, very interesting stuff there, Darren. What's going on with you?
As you kind of expect from Powell, he's not commenting too much on what's happening here with Trump, basically saying, we heard his response to him going to the Lisa Cook hearing at the Supreme Court, but he also just said here, when asked what will happen with the Fed if Trump names a new Fed chair before your term ends, he said, I'm not going to comment on that. It's not really going to be relevant. So interesting look there. Fed Chair Powell, once again, not responding to any of these concerns here with regards to Trump and the Fed. He also said that the PCE, core PCE, regardless of tariff effects on goods, is running just a bit over 2%. Back to you.
I feel like if Powell got picked up by the popo, he'd be straight. He's not going to be that dude who doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. He's got no comment down like that. Straight up. He's a G that way. So shout out to Jerome. We're not going to comment on that. That's not our purview. He does a pretty good job letting you know. But again, it's just nothing too crazy. I almost feel like.
What about a VWAP?
Look, I'm going to make sure, and I know what Dara's going to have the president's True Social account up. I have an odd feeling, and I don't know, but I could suspect that if we get a post from the president during Power Hour, that's going to move us more than we've moved in this so far, 49 minutes. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but given the inside move that we've had here, I would suspect anything come from the president's going to move us more.
I just want to say lately, I don't know if he was advised of this or what, but lately there's a trend with his comments coming out right after the bell. So I think my theory is if we get something, it'll be right after the bell. Because if you think about when he went after RTX directly, when he announced his call with Intel, both of those were like within 2 to 10 minutes after the bell. So I think now if he's calling out a specific thing, he's been a little bit more careful. That being said, this morning right after the open, he announced the S&P 500 being up and how happy he was. So that's kind of, it could go either way. My theory is he probably lately, just given his pattern, he probably won't.
And worth keeping in mind, everybody, if there is a response or something from the president after the bell, you can stay right here because we do, I know it's an hour away, we still have major earnings to get to. Obviously, there's a few Mag 7 names in there. Lamb Research is going to be in there. It should be a big one. All four of us are going to be here. Dara and Brendan at the desk. Sean and myself will kind of turn around. We have the new look going on. Powell's still taking questions, obviously. And again, the U.S. economy expanded at a solid pace.
Can you talk more about
that's the last two GDP prints were actually pretty impressive. That's a solid pace. Like if that's a solid pace, then the Seattle Seahawks have a decent. Because the Seattle Seahawks they had a decent season this year. Yeah, you know, they've done okay. The offense is okay. Sam Darnold has kind of turned around his career. Like that's the way I would describe it.
Although I think he had less wins this year than he did last year. At Minnesota, I think they had 15 wins or something, or 15-2 or whatever, and let him go.
You should see the boy in my pool who's the Minnesota fan.
Absolutely crazy. JJ McCarthy will be better than Sam Darnold, but not now. All right, I was thinking about actually going long here, the Nasdaq, if we do break through VWAP. I mean, it was a positive. It's a positive move upside. Normally, it's like you'd like to see the Nasdaq really or something start to trend. I mean, silver's kind of trending higher. Gold's not doing much. The US dollar we just showed you isn't doing much either, but maybe a break here of VWAP gets us finally going back to sort of where we were at the open. But I'm going to try that right now on a break of 57, so basically 57.40. We'll execute into a long there, and then just probably give it maybe back to here to 20 cents or so worth of space on that kind of a break. I think there is a good upside move, eventually going to happen. We do have the US dollar that's kind of just resumed normal pace. I mean, this is 2 o'clock, upside, down, now right back to where we were. If anything, maybe going lower, which should be, remember, a lower US dollar should be good for those multinationals that are oh, there we go, so I'm in, that are reporting today. So here we go, man. It's a new position for me. We're going to go long on the Qs. This is the Nasdaq. This is the TQQs. We're going to take that against VWAP, and we're just going to play it back to where we just bounced. Or we could actually play the 21 period right there, 57.20, 50. Yeah, it's basically the same level. So let's give this a little bit of a breath and see, what we're doing here with VWAP. It just trying to play the trend higher. Maybe he's still a ways away from leaving the podium. Generally, we'll get another move once he's gone because then we don't have to have the risk of his answers. So this may be a little early here to try to catch a trend, because if he slips up or gets a question about something that shakes the market, you will get algos wiping these things up. But hey, we're only talking negative. What about if they wipe it north? So let's just wait to see here. He seems to be talking okay to me. Let's see if the futures can resume regularly scheduled programming upside right now. Just got to take out, I mean, this has been my story, but right there, we got in on VWAP, and of course, does not extend out. So hopefully we can get a little bit of a push here on the TQs. Here it goes. We're in it right now and trying to see if we can get along in these futures to cook a little bit, but right now, not. All right, we can go over to Adair quickly and then come back.
Yeah, I'll be quick, guys. Just some comments with Powell here. He did say, I mean, it's just a little bit here about the U.S. dollar versus the yen. Nothing too crazy there. Just saying, no one should be necessarily hedging here with that U.S. dollar, that he doesn't see data suggesting that investors are hedging USD risk. So again, they're not seeing that hedging is happening. He did say, though, that when asked, does the Fed consider hiking rates, he said, never take anything off the table, but hiking is not our base case. That's around when we got that push into 634.50 on the Qs, when he said hiking is not their base case. Again, what we expected, but the markets still like to hear it, apparently. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying. And anyone that's talking about the hikes, absolute insanity. So he was talking about the economy. We're going to go back to him for a second, as now he's talking about the bond market, which obviously is a big deal. Intel, by the way, just continues to rally. This could be
seriously? Oh my God.
Intel 12%, by the way.
The senator.
I've got nothing for you on that.
More broadly, what would happen
to get to $50 again? I can't
if
believe
the Federal Reserve loses its ability to operate independent from politics?
So really, the point of independence is not to protect policymakers or anything like that. It just is that every advanced economy democracy in the world has come around to this common practice. It's just an institutional arrangement that has served the people well, and that is to have a separation between to not have direct elected official control over the setting of monetary policy. And the reason is that monetary policy can be used, through an election cycle to affect the economy in a way that will be politically worthwhile. So this isn't, I'm not talking about the U.S. context. This is every advanced economy democracy of any size. So it's a good practice. It's pretty much everywhere among countries that look at all like the United States. And I think if you lose that, it's, first of all, it would be hard to restore the credibility of the institution if people lose their faith that we're making decisions, only on the basis of our assessment of what's best for everyone, for the wide public, rather than trying to benefit one group or another. If you lose that, it's going to be hard to retain it. And we haven't lost it. I don't believe we will. I certainly hope we won't. But it's very important, and the reason it's important is that it's enabled central banks generally not to be perfect, but to serve the public well.
You're confident it can maintain that independence at this point?
Yes. I mean, I'm strongly committed to that, and so are my colleagues.
Archie.
Thanks. Archie Hall from The Economist. On that sort of stabilization of the labour market question, how much do you see the weakening we saw over the past 6 months, year, as a kind of data mirage around immigration and the government shutdown and so on that's now resolved? Or how much have we seen a kind of real underlying firming up in the state of the labour market, do you think?
Well, part of it is, to your point, part of it just is that labor supply, growth in labor supply has come to essentially a halt from a fairly fast clip of growth over the last couple of years, driven by immigration, and then the halt being driven by a very sudden stop in immigration. So many outcomes were possible with that. Supply came way down. It turns out that demand for labor also came down a very similar amount, maybe just a little bit more, which is why the unemployment rate has gone up. So I don't know whether that's a coincidence or not, but that's what's happened with that part. But if you look at other things, like, for example, just to pick a couple, the Conference Board's measure of job availability that came out, I don't know, was it yesterday or today? But, it shows, it's a survey showing that workers feel like job availability it's a very low reading. Just one reading, but it's an indication of softening. People, part-time for economic reasons, which is a category within the broader U6 category measure, has moved up significantly. So there are lots of, and I could go on and on, there are lots of little places that suggest that the labor market has softened. But you're right, part of payroll job softening is that both the supply and demand for labor has come down. Growth in those two have come down. So that makes it a difficult time to read the labor market. So imagine they both came down a lot to the point where there is no job growth. Is that full employment? In a sense, it is. If demand and supply are in balance, that you could say that's full employment. At the same time, do we really feel like that's a maximum employment economy? It's very challenging and quite unusual situation.
Thanks. And one more on growth and the kind of strong growth outlook, or strengthening growth outlook you're now seeing. How much of that is the fiscal stimulus we're seeing from the beautiful bill, the tax cuts, and all of that?
So you're seeing it already. You don't have much of the fiscal. I think the outlook, you're right. It's financial conditions, and it's fiscal policy for 26. But you've got strong consumption that's been happening before financial conditions have been supportive, but before the fiscal effects really are shown. So essentially, the economy has once again surprised us with its strength, not for the first time. Consumer spending, although it's uneven across income categories, but consumer spending overall numbers are good, and We're benefiting from the AI build out of data centers. That's another thing we're benefiting from. But the economy overall, the growth is on a solid footing. It looks like, and it's not just those things. It's just the consumer is filling out surveys that sound really negative and then spending. So there's been a disconnect for some time between downbeat surveys and reasonably good spending data.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Christine Romans from NBC News. You talked about how consumer spending is uneven. The president calls inflation defeated and solved. The FOMC says it's a somewhat elevated inflation. But you talked about those customer survey or those consumer sentiment surveys and public opinion polls that show that most families say the cost of living is still issue number one. What is the conversation around the table with your colleagues about how wealthier consumers seem to be driving so much of the economy, and why so many families still feel like they just can't make ends meet after 5 years of rising prices? What is that discussion like?
So a couple things. One, there's something to it in that we know that higher income households that tend to own real estate and tend to own stocks, securities, and those assets have been going up in value, and increases in wealth do support spending over time. So, and that's clearly a part of the story. We also know that for some time now, for a year or more, we've been hearing from retailers, for example, that serve lower income customers, whether it be food or the big box stores or anything. They're saying the same thing, which is our consumers are looking to economize. They're trading down from brands, and they're buying less, and it's changing their buying habits and that kind of thing. So we're seeing that, and that is a reality of what we're seeing. They're still consuming, but they're feeling it in a different way. I would say more broadly on affordability, we have a vast network through the reserve banks and also through the Board of Governors, where we talk to small and large businesses and households, and so we do hear a lot about affordability, and we take that very seriously, and we take it to heart, because one of our jobs is price stability, and so the best thing we can do for people who are feeling that squeeze is to keep inflation under control, and frankly, to finish the job of getting inflation back down to 2%.
You mentioned the AI build-out as being positive for economic growth this year. I wonder, as you look at the weakest year last year for job creation of a non-recession year since like 2003, are you concerned about AI maybe supplanting more entry-level work and entry-level jobs, and how does that play into what you're watching about the labor market?
So everyone, of course, is watching AI and the deployment and, trying to understand exactly what's happening. And there's a wide range of possibilities. It's hard to say. And of course, anyone who uses it is amazed at what it can accomplish, right? So every technological wave will eliminate some jobs and create other jobs. And it's always been the case. If you look back, wave after wave after wave, there will be some disruption, but ultimately technology increases productivity, which is the basis for rising wages. And it may not all happen immediately, but over time, it's what enables incomes to rise over time, is rising productivity. So and we always ask, well, this is going to be different. Is it going to be different? And we don't know. And we may, in any case, see in the short term jobs that are being eliminated by the capabilities of AI. We may see that. We just don't know what the overall effect is going to be. So how to think about it in macroeconomic terms, it's very hard. We can look at the aggregate data. We can analyze, for example, there is some connection, it appears, between the low hiring rate for recent college grads and AI, but it's not the main or only driver. You hear large companies, though, many of them saying that they either won't be hiring for some time, or that they're hiring less, or that they're laying people off, and they tend to refer to AI when they do that. So we're all watching and learning, and it could certainly have pretty significant effects on the economy, the workforce, and our society. We don't really have the tools to address the concerns that may arise, but we have a lot of people who focus on analyzing it and try to understand what the macroeconomic implications are, which is our job.
Beyi. Thank you, Chair Powell. Beyi from AFP News Agency. You mentioned earlier that on inflation, the broad expectation was for a one-time price increase and then for inflation to come down. And I was wondering, is your expectation still for inflation to start cooling in the second half of 2026? And if you could elaborate how far we are from target currently. Thank you.
So how far we are from target is, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we had 3.0% core PCE inflation over the 12 months ending in December, and that's pretty much what we had the year before. So on net, no progress, but the story behind that is modestly positive in that most of the overshoot was in goods prices, which we think is related to tariffs, and ultimately we think those will not result in inflation as opposed to a one-time price increase. Okay, so that's where it is. In terms of, you asked, no one thinks they will, ex ante understand really clearly, precisely when this will happen. But there's an expectation that sometime in the middle quarters of the year, we'll see tariff inflation topping out. So what we do is when a tariff is put in place, we track the effect of those tariffs over a 6, 7, 8, 9 month period, and you can see for that tariff how long it takes to reach a place where it's affected the price level, and that's it. So we're getting better at that, and our estimate is that it'll be sometime in the middle of the year, but I wouldn't look for great precision in that. But we'll be able to see whether things are moving in that direction. I think we will be able to see.
Richard Escobedo.
Thanks, Chair Powell. I'm Richard Escobedo with CBS News. I want to look outside the U.S. about what's happening outside our shores and how it impacts the U.S. Canada's Prime Minister said last week that there's been a rupture in the global order, and I wonder how you're thinking about geopolitical risk as it relates to the U.S. economy.
Going to take a quick break, and we're going to give our sponsor a look here. Spot Gamma. Why? Because as traders, times like this, when you're trading U.S. stocks, options, and futures, at some point you can get blindsided. Suddenly something's moving like it is right now on a Fed day, and you're left guessing why. And it's not your fault. Large funds have quietly built big positions in the options market before the name you're trading is reacting. So to gain an edge in today's market, Spot Gamma's daily Flow Patrol report reveals where big money is positioned so you can identify stocks building momentum ahead of major price moves. You can get 2 free weeks of Spot Gamma's Flow Patrol. Scan the QR code on screen and go behind the curtain to see what the professionals see. And professionals also make sure they listen to Adara at the desk.
Let's take a look here at this market. I do have comments to talk about here from Bessent, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He's saying that he thinks that Trump's Fed chair pick will come in a week or so, quote unquote. So we're not going to get it today. But of course, he is mentioning this the day that we do have Fed Chair Powell speaking. We'll go back to said comments from Powell, but I just want to address that. Back to you.
And the fourth quarter expected to have a 5 handle on it as to what the Atlanta Fed is predicting. At a time when you had a government shutdown and we thought that was going to shave off some growth, you've also got the fiscal tailwinds you've talked about, big tax refunds coming, potential tariff dividend. How could you cut rates and not spur inflation in that environment?
Well, we didn't cut rates today, but it depends on how fast potential output is growing, right? I'm just asking in principle. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but there's growth and there's how fast the potential is growing, and at a time of high productivity growth, potential output is rising. So it really matters whether potential output is growing as fast as actual output, and it would matter over time. The numbers you cite were for quarters, and quarterly GDP is, you need to look at 12 months because quarterly GDP can be very lumpy. GDP was negative in the first quarter last year. So the overall, over the year, the numbers were nothing like that. It was more in the mid-2s for the year.
And how do you explain the divide right now between strong economic growth and the job market? Is it productivity that's filling the gap? And is productivity being driven by AI at this point?
So you're right, there has been a divide of solid growth, but what looked like a weakening labor market. And that can be explained by rising productivity. But I would say we do see signs of, certainly of the unemployment rate stabilizing. So it may be we're seeing the beginning of the resolution of those two things. Also, as you probably know, the lore is that when GDP and the labor market get into an argument, in the end, the labor market data is more reliable. GDP data is just very hard to collect and understand, but nonetheless, I think we may be seeing that tension resolving a little bit. Too soon to say with any confidence, though.
Matt Egan.
Matt Egan with CNN. Chair Powell, after today, you have 2 meetings left as Fed chair. You've obviously experienced a lot during your time as Fed chair, served under multiple presidents. I'm wondering what advice you have for whoever your successor might be.
Honestly, I'd say a couple of things. One is stay out of elected politics. Don't get pulled into elected politics. Don't do it. And that's another thing. Well, another is that, our window into democratic accountability is Congress. And it's not a passive burden for us to go to Congress and talk to people. It's an affirmative, regular obligation. If you want democratic legitimacy, you earn it by your interactions with our elected overseers. And so it's something you need to work hard at, and I have worked hard at it. So, and the last thing is, it's easy to criticize government institutions so many ways. I will tell whoever it is, you're about to meet the most qualified group of people you not only have ever worked with, you will ever work with. And when you meet Fed staff, and not everybody's perfect, but there isn't a better cadre of professionals more dedicated to the public well-being than work at the Fed.
Thanks for that answer. If I may follow up, as I'm sure you've noticed, gold and silver prices have experienced historic gains of late. And I'm wondering how much attention, if any, you pay to those moves and what message you may take from these significant price increases we've seen for precious metals.
Don't take much message macroeconomically. The argument can be made that we're losing credibility or something. It's simply not the case. If you look at where inflation expectations are, our credibility is right where it needs to be. So we look at those things. We don't get spun up over particular asset price changes, although we do monitor them, of course.
Nicole, for the last question.
Hi, Nicole Goodkind-Barron's. Some prominent critics have charged that the Fed's economic models are somewhat backward-looking, but should be more forward-looking, incorporating things like productivity increases from AI. How do you incorporate current and future developments into your analysis and decision-making, and do you have an answer to those critics?
Yeah, so by and large, those criticisms, as somebody on the inside, they just don't make sense, and I'll tell you why. Every FOMC participant writes down a forecast every quarter, right? The summary of economic projections, and that's the basis for how we think about the economy. So, and the other thing is, what an economic model can do is it can grind up all the data for the last number of years, 50 years, let's say, and it can identify what are the relationships between variables A, B, C, D, and all that kind of thing. And it can tell you if you change one of those variables, this is what should happen in the macroeconomy. That's just the way it works. However, the structure of the macroeconomy is constantly changing. For example, we hadn't had a pandemic in 100 years. It wasn't in the model. And we knew it from the very beginning. It was not in the model. A trade war of this scope, we'd never had that in 100 years. And so there's great uncertainty at different points. Another thing I'll say is, when it comes to, technological developments, that raise potential output, some kind of technological revolution like happened in the 90s here and like maybe happening now with AI. We're all over that. And, everyone studies those periods, and, we're very clear-eyed about the possibility that this higher productivity may persist, and also that it may not. We're not, no one's sitting here unaware of the possibility of higher productivity. We've been talking about it for 3 years. It long predates the current situation. It's been going on for 5 or 6 years. We've had productivity higher. We've been talking about it that whole time. So it's very much on our minds, and we are well aware that higher productivity means higher potential output, and it changes the way you think about potentially inflation, growth, labor market, and all those things. That's all in our models. I mean, if it's just a question of using better models, bring them on. Where are they? We'll take them. But I think, we certainly are in contact with anybody who does economic modeling, and we're always looking to do better at that. But that's how I think about that.
And just a quick follow-up. We've been talking a lot about tariffs and passing through, and we've been talking a lot about them for the past few months. The trade landscape is still in a constant state of flux. Announcements, threats, negotiations, they're all frequently changing. So I'm wondering how you actually track these, what data or channels are most critical to follow this in real time?
Trade?
Yeah, the impact of tariffs and how they're changing.
Yeah, I think our staff has done a really nice job on that, and they've kind of put it together in real time. So as I mentioned, a tariff gets put in place. You can pretty much track its effects on pricing and on everything, and so you build a model up from all of the tariffs. At the beginning, it was very much of a forecast. Now it's every cycle that goes by, it becomes more informed by actual data, and our forecasts were not far off. What changed was, as I think I said earlier, what was implemented was smaller than what was announced. In addition, we didn't see retaliation internationally, and I think people did generally expect that because we saw that in the past, and that really mattered too. And then the other thing is that pass-through didn't know how fast that was going to be to consumers, didn't know how much exporters would take, how much companies in the middle would take, and how much the consumer would take. And it turns out it's a lot of companies in the middle who, by the way, are pretty strongly committed to passing the rest of it through, which is one of the reasons why we need to keep our eye on inflation and not declare victory prematurely.
Thank you.
We're done?
We're done.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. I mean, I was trying to show a little bit of what was going on there in the markets, but we don't really get too much action. I mean, upside, downside, all around there. I'm going to get rid of that news right here.
When was the last time we didn't break the low of the day going into it?
No.
We didn't break the volume-weighted average price. I cannot remember a Fed day. I don't care if there's no interest rate. I mean, it's a no move. It's utter.
Maybe he's too late.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre. Like we didn't break the low. We haven't got out above the volume-weighted average price. Like the initial move, we've barely even done more than that. Just a quick one. Silver tracked that trend up for the entirety of this, like right from the low, because the low was right before 2 o'clock. So you really start to have that trend line break. It instantly got bought up at first support. So I was going to reload this. I am not going to, and I was going to give the stop to this prior bar. I am not going to do that either. I'm literally getting out of this at 104. This thing is strong, strong, strong. So that reversion isn't going to happen. Well, it might at this point. Like I said, I'm not reloading it. It seems like the metals are too strong. You knew he was going to dodge that question too. Like it's just when he was asked about the metals, he's like, I ain't getting into that. Like he's not getting into pretty much anything else.
No.
Let's go to Adara. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a. We have 40 minutes to go until we get those earnings names.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, guys, whoever said it was a Super Bowl, that Super Bowl does not end. We go into OT because I'm going to be with you guys tonight after the bell. I've got a whole bunch of infographics prepared, arguably too many. But in the meantime, let's go to one right now. I want to talk really quick Fed recap. Fed Chair Powell did not say anything super exciting here. He did address the U.S. dollar. He talked a little bit here in those comments, of course, about tariffs, saying that he thinks it's likely just going to be a one-time impact. Now, that is significant because a lot of Feds have been unsure if it's going to be a one-time impact or a longer impact. But here's a look just to remind everyone how the Feds voted. 2 Feds voted for a 25 basis point cut. Those are Waller and Myron. Interestingly enough, Myron, of course, was appointed by Trump, and Waller, I believe, also appointed by Trump in his first term, and was at one point, I believe, maybe still very low ranking in consideration to be the new Fed chair. Then, of course, the other 10 Feds here, including Fed Chair Powell and both vice chairs, voting in favor of holding rates steady. The main change in the statement, as I mentioned, it didn't even really change much in the statement. The main thing is there seem to be less concerns now about employment stability. That, I guess, easing of tensions there with the employment stability seems to be the one thing that was the real difference. Other than that, very ho-hum Fed day, both for the market and for the actual Fed content we got. Back to you.
To see, yeah. Thanks, Adair. Yeah, we're talking about the Super Bowl going into overtime. I mean, that was kind of like I don't even think we've started the game yet, to be honest with you. I mean, this was just tonight. It starts, man. It starts at 4 p.m. Maybe we're in like midway through the first quarter because we had banks, we had ASML, we had some names that helped us. Texas Instruments, we had Intel, sort of get the crowd warmed up a little bit right there. But tonight, yeah, join Adair, myself, Neil. I mean, Joe's still here. I mean, he can grab a mic. Brendan will be here as well. Should be a really great opportunity into the close today. So it's 3:20 right now. I mean, we'll look at the imbalances. We'll see if there's anything ticking around on that. I'm long the Qs. I mean, just for what Neil had mentioned there, just thinking that, hey, maybe there is a chance now that, Podium done, Powell done, maybe market upside. We have some big earnings plays tonight, as we had just mentioned to you. Let's take a quick little look at what's expected this week, man. Here is tonight: Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, IBM. How about this? Miss, beat, beat, beat. All right, I think Meta misses. Levi's, Lam Research. I'm not sure Meta misses. I think Meta goes down. I think a lot of people wanting to have that question. Look, what exactly are you spending all your money on? Right? I mean, that's going to be something there, because those glasses, are they the thing? Is Llama the thing here? What exactly? We know that you guys are monetizing Reels. We know what's going on Instagram, but what is the next thing? What does Meta want to do? That'll be really interesting. I mean, their user base and install base, monstrous there. But I don't know. We talked about the joke about Threads. But anyways, Meta, that should be a really interesting name. I don't know if they miss. I shouldn't say miss. I wonder if they're going to go to the downside just a little bit. Meta's had a great recovery. Don't at me if Meta's your stock. But I think Tesla, there's going to be some positive talk there. And we're going to go over all of this as we get closer and closer to the 4 p.m. deadline. I'm thinking it's going to be, what is it, Tesla? Are we going to you? But Tesla, I think, is going to be right out the gate first, generally. But Adair will know that better. Let's go to
at 4, the other two at 4:05.
And then IBM maybe is the late one. 4:10. Okay, yeah, I knew one of them was always a little bit later. But okay, let's go over to Neil, and then we'll talk about more stocks after that.
Adair isn't messing around, and neither is PDS Biotechnology. That's PDSB on the Nasdaq, and they're transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer, with initial focuses on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the U.S. in a few years. You can learn more at www.pdsbiotech.com and check them out as PDSB over on the Nasdaq. Before we move on, it's not 3:30 yet, but as far as the early look goes, not a heck of a lot. You'll see GDX for a small sell of just under 1 million shares. IonQ with an early look, 770,000 to the buy side. The SPY, that's way too small for the SPY to matter, but it is a sell of 500,000. Enbridge usually pairs off 2 million to sell there. That would be the biggest. This is at ZSL, ignore that. The second one's a SPAC. This one is one of those, I think it's like a super leveraged, I think it's like an ultra short silver ZSL. So typically those need to be a gigantic number. It's 1.2 million for that ZSL. But obviously silver is flying around here doing ridiculous amounts of volume, so anything can happen. I think it was the right decision not to, like if I just don't tighten the stop here, all that's happening is you just get stopped at the high of the day. Silver is an absolute rocket ship as we speak. I did get trailed out of IBIT or stopped out of IBIT for the first time in the afternoon. It's still hanging around the same range. It was really only a couple of pushes into the low, and now Bitcoin is going sideways. What's not going sideways? Intel.
Okay, I was going to say most things seem to be.
It's only 11% up, Intel. It's only 11%.
Wow, and we didn't even find a story on that.
That's the wild. This is the wildest thing. Like, is to like there was some positive chip stories overnight. There's no questions asked. I mean, SK Hynix, ASML earnings, Nvidia, China chips. But someone want to explain to me why any of those stories have Intel moving 11%? Because I, for one, would love to know.
I mean, it's day 4. Generally, after day 3, we had a nice 5-6% move. We've had it as bids. Like both you and I tried to get long that name, but nothing but upside. What's up, Adara?
I'll just go over this Carvana story because I know this is one that was on a lot of people's minds today. It's also rebounded incredibly well here. We're up like $30 from the lows, but still obviously down quite a lot. Now, why are we to the downside here for CVNA? There's a short report from Gotham Research, and it's worth Gotham City Research. It's worth noting. I found out after the fact they actually teased this. They were posting like a couple hours before they released it. We're going to have a short report soon on a company. So kind of, they were certainly a little bit playful with it. Basically, they are alleging accounting issues. And here's the thing, guys, that I think is really critical to know because I've read through this. This is the type of short report where we're going to find out if it's true or not, likely by the time Carvana reports their earnings next. Why? Because of the nature of these allegations. So Gotham City Research alleging that Carvana has overstated its 2023 and 2024 earnings by more than $1 billion. Now, they're also saying that apparently their adjusted EBITDA has been helped by Drive Time. Now, what is Drive Time? Drive Time Automotive Group is the used car retailer and finance company from which Carvana was spun off. So they exist and they spun off Carvana. That's the context that I think is important to know here with regards to Drive Time. They're saying that leverage from Drive Time has unfairly propped up Carvana's adjusted EBITDA. Now, here is where we get to the part where I say that we're going to find out if this is true or not very soon. Because according to Gotham City Research, Carvana is going to be delaying its 2025 10K a la SMCI, and that they're also going to have to restate their 2023-2024 10Ks. Furthermore, they believe that Grant Thornton, their auditor, will resign. So, of course, if those things don't happen during their Q4 report, then we'll know if this is true. If they do happen, then this report will be backed up. So, again, I think it's very critical to know, unlike certain short reports that just allege issues with the company, this one has very specific allegations that we will likely get some kind of follow-up on once Carvana reports Q4 earnings. I apologize for the in-depth dive, but I do think it's important to understand this story in detail because I think it is so, it's a relatively easy to prove or disprove short report compared to a lot of other ones we've seen. Back to you.
Adara, don't you ever apologize for doing a good job because we saw what happened with SMCI, right? I think this is, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I think this is kind of what could be at stake here if this gets proven right. Just for all the reasons that you said. If they do that delay, it probably won't. It doesn't all happen in one shot, but the unwind was pretty nasty for SMCI and Carvana. If you don't think it's got that room to go, well, here's a weekly chart of Carvana. I might need a monthly. Yeah, the weekly is good enough because that shows you all the way down. What was that low? Down here in 2023. Hey, I randomly went to my birthday. You can't make this up. $5 and something at that low back in 2022. And all the way to almost $500. There's a long way that this could fall. Wow, we've definitely not heard the last of this one. That's for sure. Jeez.
This is how you know that my wife and I are very old. She just sent me this banger of a concert. Neo and Akon, right there. Oh, Adara, okay. Neo, maybe I'm not that old after all. Neo and Akon, Ramin and Adara, we're gonna go check this one out. Neo and Akon in Hamilton. Anyways, I have no idea why.
So you say you love Marissa because she got her own?
Is that an Akon song or a Neo song? I don't know. I just know I like the Neo or the Akon Snoop Dogg song.
I guess you're going to get closer to Neo than you ever thought you would.
Oh, closer, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm too sick of love songs for that concert.
That was a good one there.
Tears.
What's that one? Convict Music. What's the one? See me whining and grinding up on that pole.
Already dancing to it before you even started, bro.
Yeah. So there we go, man. We're gonna be whining and grinding there.
Oh, that's the joint, Brian. Smack that.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, smack that. Yeah, that's Eminem. On that as well.
Well, don't worry about it.
Do that smack that dance?
Nah. Joe's like,
Joe, come on, Joe. Joe's mad
because wait till we start daggering up in here. Then it gets out of control. He wants to go top shelf. Joe knows what I'm talking about.
Joe's mad because Pitbull doesn't have a feature on that there.
Joe's Jamaican, by the way, for anyone that's the only reason I made a daggering reference. Don't do it, it's very dangerous. I remember the first time I saw that, so I got sent videos from my cousins. I'm like, Jamaicans be crazy.
Jamaica be crazy as well.
'Cause not all West Indians do some of the stuff they do.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
That was a good Akon singing. Thank you very much. I mean, you know, since trading's not working out, we could definitely, you know, get into the audio side.
I totally missed. Where was that concert?
Of things. I think it's in Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton. Okay, so it's.
Yeah, we'll probably be sitting front row for that one.
Say what's up to Sidhu for me.
Yeah, we'll be going to Hamilton and rocking that one. Yeah, that's right. Dangerous is another good track there. All right, what's dangerous or not here? I mean, the futures are just doing their damn thing right now. I mean, they have pulled back off of VWAP. I mean, generally speaking, if this wasn't, I feel like it's already not Fed day. Like, it's over with. That's it. Fed is done. There was really nothing to do about it. Here's the 2 o'clock. Initially a move down. We basically based out down here, 56.80s or so, and then we made a move. Basically just back to VWAP a little bit. We first took a VWAP break there. We got out of it. Didn't get out of it all. Then we went long again right there. Got out of some more up here. Generally speaking, it might be a relatively flat to down on this kind of a TQQ trade, but I'm still just going to wait to put on, you know, basically double it up here at the 200 period moving average, and then see if we can get back up to the upside, as we only have 20 minutes now until imbalances. I just, you know, I was thinking like Meta today, earnings day. Let's see where they can take this market. Meta down on the day. I mean, the whole Nasdaq is up, so Meta being down ahead of earnings. Microsoft right now, I don't know what these stocks are. I haven't looked at them since Fed, or basically even since this afternoon. Microsoft down as well. The other name that's reporting, of course, is Tesla. Tesla did have some up and down movement there, but now, okay, fading down again there, Tesla into the print. So maybe the Nasdaq does want to give a little bit back here as we continue to bleed lower right now on the broader markets. And there's the Nasdaq just hitting. I mean, we could have gone short on VWAP. Obviously, that would have been printing by now, but the market's not doing a whole heck of a lot. Tesla's probably, if you are looking for a trade, I mean, we actually indicated it when it was down here during Fed. I had the Tesla chart up, and I was kind of like, what about this? We did come into the lows there, 432. Hasn't broken yet today. I mean, that's 431.50, but, you know, that's right off the open. Not too bad. That was a scare down there on Fed again, but Tesla, you should be able to find some sort of a bid down here if it does get into the 432-ish area. So watch out for that name, just basically down about $1 and change here in the last couple minutes. What was the other one? Microsoft, Tesla, Meta. Oh, the other one was, I did Meta already. The other one was IBM, but just, you know, not necessarily going to be super exciting. Lamb's good. It's just $1,000 name.
Yeah. No, Lamb split.
Oh yeah, that's right. Lamb Research. ASML was 1,500.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It was ASML that never split. ASML needs to do a stock split.
We haven't checked out ASML.
Figure it out at ASML. No, but Lamb, they split and went absolutely ham. The stock doesn't.
Lamb will be down tomorrow.
It's too much. Like,
well, just ASML had a great report and they're down.
Much. ASML got absolutely destroyed. The European Open is like sometimes built different, but this stock at the US, it was just insane. At the US Open, because this is in Europe, this is at the US Open today. It just got absolutely destroyed on a flat bottom break. My goodness, if you're trading at real trading, sometimes like maybe look at these European names for technical trades. I can't remember the last time we even looked at Europe, but that was wild on ASML. Into the red on a great report. Let's go to Adara, 15 minutes till imbalances.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk here about these implied moves. A lot of these actually smaller than I thought they'd be. Meta here with the largest of the mix, 7.3 that are reporting tonight, which makes sense. But Microsoft and especially Tesla, only 5.8% expected move for Tesla. LRCX 7%, and ServiceNow, another name much like LRCX that recently had a stock split, there got a 7.7% expected move. The largest by far is CLS, Celestica, with an 11% move. The Levi in close second place, 8.9% move. This infographic already on X at TTV Research. I'm currently working on an implied earnings move. Look for tomorrow morning's earnings, and you'll be able to find that very shortly on TTV Research at X as well. Back to you.
Danny's boy with the super chat. We appreciate you. I'm going to try to, if we can't get it up very quickly, I'll get it myself. We got it. So
I can get it.
All the strong dollar talk doesn't change the $38 trillion US debt.
True.
That's a lot. 38 trillion. That's a big number.
Is that what it's at?
And the need for lower rates in order to manage it. That is the absolute truth. Silver and gold headed right back right on back to the uppity up. Because up is only okay. Uppity up is when you go parabolic, and that's exactly what you seem to be seeing. Yeah, well, you know what happens when governments around the world start stockpiling metals again? You know, stable coins are like, well, what kind of reserve should we hold? It should usually be treasuries, right? We're going to get into gold too with Tether. Yeah, methinks you are onto something there, Danny's boy. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. I don't know why was I just looking at Levi's? Oh, because they're one of the reports tonight. But yeah.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
I don't mind Levi's there tonight.
Quick pivot from a stock. Levi's right at the 200 period moving average. You know what's at the 200 period SMA on the daily and trying desperately to hold on to it? Palantir.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's right there. But the thing about Palantir is on the monthly chart, on the daily chart, it's like, yeah, well, maybe there's a bounce on daily. On the monthly chart, this does not look like a spot to pick it up right now. Like, if you look at this, it has not done, on the way up, this is the first time you've got more than one deep pullback on a monthly. So I feel like you at least need to have confirmation of holding this higher low. Like, this month needs to close above 150. And then I want to see in February that we're holding 150 or signs of breaking this downtrend. I almost think like it's like a mid to late February story, depending on when they report. Palantir earnings. Do you know the date off the top of your head?
Early February.
It is early February. Yeah, okay, so that's good. So that's perfect. Because I think you're going to need to, like, almost like the middle of February, we're going to determine that. So we get them early on.
No, it's Feb 2nd.
That's next week.
Yep, Feb
That's
2nd.
literally next week. So great.
It's 5 days. Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Holy crap, that is even sooner than I thought, which does mean the middle of the month will be the perfect time to be able to assess the price action on Palantir. That 200 period is not going to matter to me the way it's trading, on the daily, that is.
No, we're excited for Palantir earnings. I mean, I think it'll be a good, decent opportunity there to get some love. And I was just saying that about Lamb. I mean, ASML had a great report and they're down. And I know Neil showed you guys Amsterdam. People asked about .AS there. That's not Australia. Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, my bad. It's dual listed. I just have the habit of going to the Amsterdam listing.
Well, that's fine. People are just asking about what the AS was. All right, so U.S. dollar kind of hovering near these lows again. This is a 1 minute chart. This is today. You know, it's a forever trading instrument here, but you can grab that down here, 96.40, like that has been, looks like some kind of support into this morning. This is 9 o'clock, and then we bounce off of there at 11 o'clock, and now we're coming back in on the US dollar. We are now moments away, obviously, from all of those reports, so it's going to be a big idea generator for tomorrow. I mean, let's figure out where we're going to land with Microsoft, Tesla. I think Tesla's going to be the most interesting for me, just to hear about, you know, if there is talk, and it's going to have to wait for the call, but we're going to have to wait to see about Tesla versus the robo-taxi, Optimus, what that looks like. We know the car deliveries. We've already got those numbers. That's not what we're waiting for today. So we'll have to be very patient. Tesla's the only name out of the three that's up going into earnings between Tesla, Microsoft, and Meta. So, you know, there's maybe something involved with that. You know, SNDK, we talk about, you know, momentum names, right? Goodness, yeah. Up 174% or something year to date, and up another 9% today. Like, what is even going on? On Friday, is it Friday pre-market or is it Friday SNDK? Yes, no, post-market tomorrow. SNDK and Western Digital coming through. So this is January, $237.
So?
So up to $537. So you're up about 120 or 30%. Let's call it 15 trading days. Congratulations, SNDK. You have minted many millionaires, I would assume. Western Digital coming as well tomorrow night. We're staying late tonight and tomorrow night, so you're going to get all of them. There's Western Digital up 12% today, and then Micron. And again, this is on strong Texas Instruments. This is on strong ASML guides. You know, just that the momentum is forward.
SK Hynix in the Asian overnight markets as well with a good report, and that's another reason that everything bumped up. Oh, by the way, I did find NVIDIA. I saw a story for Intel possibly explaining why it was up.
Okay.
It was the CFO, I believe it was the CFO, bought $250,000 worth of shares at 42. So some dip buying, insider buying on Intel at 42. Maybe that's that could have been the reason that getting reported. But there's a lot of confidence in this stock that they're going to turn it around. I just feel like what's going to happen is it's gotten so far ahead of itself that we're going to, maybe before the end of the year, we're going to hear some kind of a really big announcement getting a big-time client. There's already some more positive talk with them in Nvidia. Nothing too concrete just yet. What? Silver? Silver just broke the highs. SLV is now it's 4%. It's almost at that local high of 106. That'd be the top all-time highs on the daily here. What is gold doing? Obviously, of course, what is gold doing? Gold also right at the top. I'm willing to bet you could look at the moment. It was right in this consolidation when Powell was asked about the parabolic moves in the metals. It was right during here, and that was like that trend break. That was actually the low, and it's been absolutely flying ever since. So he did nothing to dissuade that move. Crazy move up in silver. It just ripped some faces off.
It's still going.
Meanwhile, Bitcoin can't even. It's right back at the lows. Like
Silver's
where the money's going.
3% too.
I know.
Like it's not even up that much. I mean, 3% is still big, but no slowing down anything there today. So we did average this back in at the 200 period moving average, giving us this average price of 18s, whatever. We're waiting still for this 50 period moving average of 30s. So hopefully that comes in. We'll be able to take a 57.30. But heading into these imbalances, right now it's a nothing burger. It's just sort of New York names, Enbridge, whatever. That's a Canadian pipeline business there. Also in the United States. You guys are, maybe some of you are familiar, I think in the north, central maybe? I'm not sure where Enbridge is in the United States. But okay, BMNR there over, we talked about a little bit of Ethereum. We can have a quick look over there as Bitmine moving around. Gold with a slight little bid as well. There goes gold, man. There it is. Like I was saying, silver's only up 3, but gold's up 4% right there and going higher for GLD. What else is on here? Nothing really that I'm seeing now. SPY. So SPY is going to be a sell. So, maybe something there. IonQ, we did have more news again as the quantum space caught a little bit of a story there, and Adara brought that to you during the mid-conference call. Right there, you got a couple spikes up in volume there around 255. Some quantum stories, and IBM is going to be a quantum story today maybe. I think IBM does have some good opportunity to get back in to that upside. There's that Quad U name as well, UUU. I don't know what's been going on with some of those metal names today, but this is up 13%.
Actually, speaking of some ETFs, we got a super chat from Steven Springer. I don't know if we got this one.
We got
There's 3 super chats. We got Easy Peasy. I want to start with Steven Springer here. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Have a look at uranium. This is the uranium miner ETF, actually. Up 8%. That is a heck of a breakout. No questions asked. I mean, it's unabated to the quarterback. Kind of like the Seattle defense is going to teach Drake May a lesson in 2 weeks. I almost want to say this week, but it'll be in 2 weeks. And we have one from Side Quest Investor. Side Quest Investor, are we at the top, my boy? I don't know which. I mean, we're nowhere near. You're the top of the Qs, the top in, you got to let me know, in the market today, in the market overall. I would say going into the major earnings, we get the mags, and we just kind of topping tail ticked it here. If we follow this suit of good numbers not being good enough, then some kind of a temporary top could be true. It is the Mag 7 earnings, which could absolutely turn us into that. I'm not at that point just yet, although I'm not that optimistic that Meta's getting through that 200 period moving average. And now it's easy peasy, I believe is the third one. Keeping your word, donating some of your profits, a percentage of your profits, extra 1K CVS. Gratitudes there. And then easy peasy again. Tesla, Robotaxi, Optimus, Catalyst. That was from before. We missed one earlier. Apologies, they're easy peasy. 0.2%, 4.4K. There's the 888.
Yeah, there's the 888.
The 888s account. What was the 5/8 account?
5/8. Yeah.
That's an ominous number in trading if you've ever seen Rogue Trader. Just as long as you're not stashing it in a 5/8 account, just make sure you pay yourself out and don't double down forever like Nick Leeson. The wildest thing about Nick Leeson, if you've never seen Rogue Trader, is dude was hiding his losses because they let him do the clearing. and they just averaged down in like in the index. And he actually got a bounce, got back to break even, and was up and celebrating. And then he did it again and bankrupted the bank. It's like, Nick, what you doing? And that's how he became OB1, because, you know, he had to use the force to get out of that. No, but thank you, Easy Peasy. We appreciate you. 5 minutes to imbalances. As Sean said, it looks pretty quiet here. The only one of mild interest, I would say, is IonQ for me. That's the kind of stock I'll throw up just in case it does something a little crazy. 15 million on the day, 1 million of an imbalance. It's in a sector that can move. It's got a related name reporting tonight. There's a few things that could cause this one to be a decent imbalance. But 5 minutes and we'll find out.
Yeah, we're still looking at this UUU stock. A nice day today, up 13%. Just really, like, look at this 200 period moving average right there. We had CRML was a mover as well. Not so much today as UUU, but okay, let's go. Down 6%. So the other way today for CRML. And then the name that TMC, the metals company, was a good name there, brought to us by Brian Shannon over the last couple of days. That's up 4.5%. But here's a medical device company to keep an eye on. Enview Medical, ticker FEED. We've been talking about that today. The company designs and markets a guided feeding tube platform to hospitals across the United States. Today, the majority of hospitals do this procedure blindly, leading to unavoidable injuries from misplacements. Think of this platform as a GPS for feeding tube placement, which can improve patient safety and streamline how care teams work. What stands out to me is the growing appetite for this platform throughout the United States, and hospitals with their tech fits right into this clinical need. Today, they're already in 38 hospitals. As hospitals push for safer, more efficient solutions, Enview looks like a company building scalable technology with real-world demand behind it. Definitely one to watch, but if you haven't been watching it, go check them out. It's Nasdaq feed right there. They're up today. Check out my chart there. They're up today 137%, and we've been talking about these guys for a little bit. So there it goes. Nice move there for feed. All the way down here, 91 cents or so, up to 250. Let's see what goes on today with feed. Nice move there, upside. We want to thank them for sponsoring the show one more time, or this segment of this show. The peppercorn beef was pretty good. I mean, much better than what was yesterday.
I think there just wasn't enough of it. I thought it was delicious.
Yeah, it was delicious. I threw on a little bit more. I saw some more that was in there. They always give
really good
smaller portions. Yesterday we needed less of a portion. Today we needed more.
But the key is there was barely any peppercorn on it. I think that's.
Yeah, I don't think it was like a Chinese peppercorn is a little different than French, I guess. Yesterday's French.
French peppercorn was basically just putting so much on it that it's
so bad. Yesterday. JP Morgan flat on the day, but it was down earlier today, so that would be something to look out for. JP Morgan to 298 and change, nice little move higher there. Did have a jump on Fed talk, then came right back in. So that was a name that had jumped around a little bit, kind of like crisscross will make you jump. And then the Daddy Mac will also make you jump, but you got to believe that.
Just don't try to compare us to
do not try to compare us, that's for sure.
And I'm bad, I'm giving you something that you never had to make you jump, wiggle and shake you up. Let me keep flavors and make you want to jump.
Yeah, there's something like that. Yeah. So we can get Carvana too, down 20, was down at 1.20%. We brought that to Sharif's attention. He's like, it's not down 20%, but it was. Nice downside move there on Carvana on that report. Little fishy action happening in CVNA land, but the 200 period has been pretty good. We could probably zoom all the way back and see what the 200 period does down into here, or can we, as my chart taking a minute to do that. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a safe little ride here for Carvana all the way to the downside there. And it's only giving back to where we were back December 1st, and that's at the lows. So, all right, only 2 minutes left. Look, I'm still stuck in this Qs position. I mean, I'm not stuck. I could get out now for flat. We're long at 18s. Let's just see what winds up happening here into the close. Potentially some bids coming through for the NASDAQ names that are going to be reporting later on today. And stay late with us, man. We are going to be live until 4:30 or so, giving you the earnings that come through live. There's nowhere else to go. Stay right here. As soon as they hit, man, you'll see live level 2 action. I'll have my same setup that I have right now. We'll have at the other desk, and we'll show you all that. Adira will parse through the numbers, and Neil and I, Brendan, will give you our opinion on that. But should be good to go, and pretty excited. You have your mic? All right, we're going to go to Joe. Joe wants to say something.
Oh, easy peasy again.
Okay, another super chat or the same one?
This is a new one. I was seeing 888 last year, and it led to Sarepta bought 88 calls 70K biggest profit in 2025. Gotta watch the movie. Never seen it.
Nick Leeson.
Yeah, if you've never seen
Rogue
Trader,
we had him on the show.
Nick Leeson, yeah, it was year 4 or 5. No, shoot, it was
Not
5.
that long ago, was it?
Yeah, it might have been 5 years ago.
Oh, you think it was that long?
It might have been probably 4 or 5 years ago. We had Nick Leeson on the program. It's the most famous, I guess, blow-up trade of all time. And it's not even remotely close. The oldest bank in England was bankrupted by a single trader, and his name was Nick Leeson, and he's a fantastic public speaker now. He actually is a motivational speaker on risk management for obvious reasons. He was a star going into it. I do believe we're going to go to Joe. Joey's got something he wants to say.
Something pretty crazy. Oh, yeah, what's up, everyone? Yeah, so I'm just getting some of the options activity ready for tomorrow. I mean, this is insane. So I've been documenting some things. This is literally done 2 minutes ago. The value of this at the ask was $6.60. You're now pumping up to $7.05 with a high of around $7.60. So it gained like $80 in a span of a couple of minutes. But if you want to talk about from yesterday, that's a 2,600% return in GLD on this specific contract. Absolutely ridiculous. That's all I really had to say. I wanted to point that out.
Just quickly, imbalances just came out. Nvidia, 1.8 million to the sell side. Alphabet, 1.4 million to the sell side. And Intel, 1.3 million to the buy side. Warner Brothers, 1.1 million sell. That's interesting. NCLH, 1 million buy. Kind of weird. Don't usually see that one unless they're reporting. Rigetti, 880,000 to the sell side. Overall, the market is a 1 billion sell. The Nasdaq, 1.1 billion to sell. The Dow, 75 million. The Mag 7, 775 million also to sell. Watch out for 355. Probably going to have a pairing event on Nvidia. Let's have a quick look under the hood to see how they did. Already reversed the move. That was pretty fast. So as quickly as the imbalances came out, Nvidia caught a down wick and immediately bought right back to the upside for NVDA on that sell imbalance. Not a huge one, but had a slight move down.
Yeah, I was just going to kind of review some of the names that we're going to be looking at here into the close. So Microsoft, Flat. I mean, we're getting ready, man. This is a big earnings day. We can just keep on showing you this, but here it is right here. It's Microsoft, it's Meta, it's IBM, it's Lam Research, it's Las Vegas Sands, it's Levi's. There's many more names than this. These are just all the major cap names. ServiceNow, Celestica. Shout out to Canada there as well. Waste Management, we'll take out that garbage later on. And then Tesla, IBM, Microsoft, Meta. These are the big ones. Starbucks actually had a decent move early, and then it fell back through 100. Then I believe we took 100 again on Starbucks. So here it comes right now, 95, no. So I think we, in the midday, didn't we get, no we didn't. So Starbucks never battled back. Yeah, that was a good short right there, breaking that $100 marker. We sort of talked about that a little bit when it was happening. Bounced around, that's where it took 100 back again at about 10 o'clock. And then once it did that, then it was just downside. So there's the early break on Starbucks, which had a decent report, a little mixed though. Starbucks downside was up about 10% when we were at 105, right? Because it closed yesterday 95 up to 105, almost 10% clean. And now it should be reverse SSR. Like it's not going to be SSR, but it should be. Like that was already up 10% today and it went red. So that is crazy. Like Starbucks to be up,
that's crazy.
Sharif must not be buying that protein over there right now. But they were up 10%, now down to flat right there. SSR not, but should be, technically speaking, down 10% on the intraday, but flat day over day. So that's Starbucks with their report and downside. ASML came with a nice report as well. They got hit. They were up 6 or 7% earlier as well, and this is what ASML was doing. They were at 1540, now all the way down to 1420, so see you later on that one. Not almost down 10% on that one as well from start to finish there. And then, you know, another interesting name was going to be Netflix. It's been bouncing pretty good every day. Like that was a nice move, $86 down to $84.50, and now trying to break through on Netflix as well. Still down 1%, but we're gonna have to watch out for that name today. Tesla's out at 405. That should be an exciting one. And then the dollar had that move up on the announcement of flat, and then had this move down, and it's pretty much has not caught a bid. We got a little bit of one. I don't know what question was asked there at 3 o'clock, or maybe that's when he left, but then it just came all the way back down. The dollar resumes usually scheduled programming to the downside. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on here today. Pretty eventful day, considering the Nasdaq is flattish.
And it's going to get even crazier after the bell because we'll get it fast and furious. It'll be right at 4 o'clock. We'll probably spin around a little bit early just so we're ready right at 4. You can see Brendan in position. He's got his Finance Bro vest on, taking it real serious.
I should go get mine on to match him.
It's too warm in here to put that vest on. There's no chance.
Stop complaining, Joe.
No, it's just I wouldn't put that vest on with a sweater. It's just too warm. It's fantastic.
Sharif came in here. I was all bitching about it too this morning about how warm it was. It is a little bit warm. It's hard to get the temperatures right in here. It's a huge open space.
It's a very
and
you guys only see a fraction.
And the trades are cold as ice.
It's crazy. Oh, by the way, silver is pulling back for the first time. Look at Powell asked about the metals, first red candles all afternoon. Another all-time high for silver and gold. They just continue to go and go and go. There's no one stopping them. But in about 5 minutes, and when I say in about 5 minutes, in 5 minutes, it'll be Microsoft's world. And we're going to all just be living it until we're living in Meta's world. And then we're going to be living in Elon's world.
We're really just living in Elon's world at the end of the day.
Well, yeah,
this guy's going to be, Brendan's ready for that Optimus. He needs some laundry folded immediately, and he's getting ready to get Optimus. It's already ready to go there.
My driveway.
All I had to do, speak about Tesla, in order to buy the R2 that I eventually will be owning, hopefully at the end of this year, all I had to do was basically short Rivian, and we could have been rolling around for free in a vehicle because Rivian's gotten absolutely pummeled down there to the downside right now. So we'll have to wait. This is the car business, ladies and gentlemen, the EV car business, not a great one. And we don't expect Tesla to be talking too much about EVs. So we'll wait to see. EVs as far as robo-taxis, maybe a Model 2 or something that kind of matches with what we're thinking. But yeah, Tesla only up right now 0.5, but we are 4 minutes away from everything. So we had a great aftermarket show last week, a couple of them with Intel earnings. That was a really great surprise to the downside there. And we'll see if we see something coming out again. It's too late to put up a poll, but I'm not sure. I think Meta's going to move the most. I think it's going to be down, which means it's probably going to rip up. And I think Tesla has a great opportunity to make a move to the high side. So I think we'll be on Tesla. It's $5. Take my picture right in there, Ramin. So what's up to that? $250 for Niels. There you go.
See the
$750 in total.
Your license
right
there.
there.
No, the big one I think today, I think it's not going to be one of those big three. I think we're talking about Lamb. I think that one, after the fireworks of ASML, I'm thinking Lamb could be the big mover, especially given the reversal in ASML was absolutely epic today. Already with 3 minutes to go, you're already seeing the bid come in here pretty heavily on Microsoft. So this one's getting bought up early. You already mentioned Tesla, Meta. Meta's got work to do. Meta has big resistance. Meta lost it at $680. What happened to Meta today? Oh, yeah, that's right. We still can't get past the 200-period moving average. Somebody doesn't want to hold past the 200 SMA on the daily on Meta. No matter how and where it bounces, it cannot seem to hold there. They're not reporting until next week, but Palantir, that 200-period moving average on the daily, I'm not going to care about that one. We'll look at the monthly chart for Palantir. Don't worry about it. Palantir next week will also be a big one. We got earnings today after the bell, and we'll stick around for that, of course, but also tomorrow when we get Apple. So when it's major earnings, we stick around for everybody so that the action will be live and real, and there will be action today.
All right, with only 2 minutes left, why don't we, Brendo, you guys ready back there? Because we should flip around. Yep. Okay, so you'll see us in just a couple seconds. Let's go over to Brendan, Adara. There's less than 2 minutes left. They'll tee it up. Nasdaq going out around 0.4, S&P around flat today. So it should be a good one. We're ready for some fireworks. Let's go to the big desk.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, let's get set for what is to come here. A couple minutes to go, and we'll get right into the thick of things. Again, Microsoft coming, Meta coming, and also Tesla coming. Darren and I were just saying, most likely going to be Microsoft Meta first, most likely going to be Tesla third. When that all happens, we'll bring it to you as it does come out. Adara's going to keep her eyes open here for numbers as they come through. Overall, we're expecting for Microsoft, just to run through some of the expectations once again, $80.3 billion in revenue overall. That's a 15%, or would be a 15% year-over-year uptick. EPS between 386 to 392. I mean, they're going to be talking about Azure, obviously. I'm kind of interested. Remember that Maya 200 chip they were talking about?
Yeah.
Do they say anything about that? Is it coming? Is it not coming? We shall see. On the Tesla side of things, 24.8 billion to 25 billion expected. That's a negative 3, or would be a negative 3% downtick on the year-over-year. EPS 44 cents roughly. Market closing here, guys, roughly flat in about, or flat-ish from where we were for most of the afternoon. As far as Microsoft is concerned, I mean, we were talking a little bit about this morning with Sharif. You know, the AI monetization conversation hasn't really started for them yet specifically. Let's see what we get.
Well, I think Maya is it's a little bit too early for us to worry about Maya. They just announced it, and Nvidia seemed to care about it more than our friends Microsoft. But yeah, I mean, I think Satya Nadella's done a great job. If I look at this infographic for like the last, congrats, the bells rung. If you look at the segment performance for the last quarter, up 17% year-over-year, productivity and business processes up 28% year-over-year, intelligent cloud. Like, there's year-over-year growth across the board. We don't have any year-over-year declines like we have with the likes of Tesla. Sorry, Elon. So I think generally, MSFT, maybe of the Meg 7s reporting tonight, probably the best poised. I also want to let you guys know, I have these scheduled where these infographics, just reminding you of what to expect, they're coming out every couple of minutes. Just keep your eyes on XITTV Research right before the reports come out. You will see a visual reminding you of what to expect. It's a lot, but that's what we're here for you.
All right, I have Microsoft just taking to the upside here right now. Don't see anything yet. We'll keep our eyes peeled as far as the actual numbers are coming through. There it is. Yeah, initial move is downside. Adara has her eyes open for Microsoft. We'll jump over to Meta real quick as well. Not doing anything on the Meta front. Tesla also downside here. Might just be on the back of that Microsoft move. Not seeing anything.
I have the numbers.
There you go.
So it looks like Q2 revenue, as far as I'm seeing, looks like they beat 81.27 billion versus estimates of just over $80 billion. Q2 EPS, $5.16 per share. That's above the estimates I'm seeing. Looks like we had 38% year-over-year growth for Azure versus estimates of 38%. So in-line growth, maybe a bit dicey here. Q2 Intelligent Cloud revenue also in line. So we have Microsoft pretty in line here. We'll take a look at META. I'm going to pull that up for you guys.
Yeah, again, Microsoft Q2 revenue, 81.27 billion. The estimate was 80.318 billion. So a little bit better than expected. Yeah, not seeing anything on the Meta front yet. Dara, you have numbers.
Yep, so Meta here, Q3 revenue, $59.89 billion. That's a great year-over-year increase here. Let me see her operating margin, 41%, bit of a decline year-over-year. I'm just reading off the report, guys. EPS, $8.88 per share. I was seeing around $8.15, so it looks like that is going to be a beat. I believe for revenue as well, certainly for EPS. So yeah, great. Yeah, this is a double beat here for META as far as I can tell.
Meta trying to bounce here, guys. We're a little bit choppy. Thoughts on this price action?
What this might be telling us on Meta is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you beat. Tell us that you're spending less money or how you're going to make money. So it might be a conference call or just CapEx spend down. We felt this way that it could be a situation where Meta was going to have to tell us that they were spending less, and that's going to be the number that I think matters more. They did try to break upside multiple times here on Meta. Like, it caught a pretty hefty bid off of 650 the first time and was able to get back through to old school green. But they're just continuing to punish them. I just feel like you got to convince us how you're making money when everyone else can monetize, but you effectively on this big time spending. And you're talking about $100 billion. Like, the numbers that they're throwing out there for CapEx are absolutely insane. And maybe the market still wants them to pull that back. So for now, I mean, if you were selling options, we haven't done a 5% move. So we're kind of still inside. I remember us saying that about Netflix. It wasn't all that bad, and it was able to bounce the next day. Maybe we get a little bit of that as well.
You have more.
Yeah, I do. I just did a little bit of a a chortle or a chuckle here because Meta is guiding 2026 capex between $115 billion and $135 billion. Why the chortle? Because estimates implied $110.6 billion. That is well above estimates. That's a lot of money that they will theoretically be spending. But just to go over the numbers here, again, double beat here, EPS and revenue. Ad revenue, $58.14 billion. So that's the bulk of their $59.9 billion. So again, most of the revenue here coming from ads, family of apps revenue, a little bit above estimates, family of apps operating income, more or less in line, operating income up 5.9% year over year. Reality Labs revenue, $955 million. That's going to be below estimates. And Reality Labs operating loss, $6.02 billion. That is a bigger loss than expected. So Meta kind of weak there with Reality Labs. We'll take a look for Tesla, guys.
Yeah, okay, we'll keep an eye out, guys, for Tesla. I was just looking over some of the numbers here for Microsoft. We talked about the importance of the cloud, 81.38 versus 80.38. The cloud revenue specifically, 50 billion on the nose for Azure. It's impressive still, though.
Yeah, I have Tesla.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Tesla here, adjusted EPS 50 cents per share above estimates of 45 cents. Sales 24.9 billion versus 24.778 billion expected. That's going to be a narrow double beat here on both metrics there for TSLA. As I get more, I'll let you know, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye on everything. But I think with Meta, the Reality Labs loss or miss there, and then also the fact that we did have larger than expected capex, probably what's leading to that Meta hit. All I'm seeing right now for Tesla is just the EPS and revenue beat.
Guys, Microsoft's still the worst off here by far out of the three.
It's a little strange, yeah. I mean, I thought Meta would be the worst. Well, they're very similar. They're very close here. But yeah, Microsoft continues that downside move there. As we wait, we're waiting for more news. For me, anyways, OpenAI. Let's just figure that all out. It's interesting to see the capex number from Meta. I did want to take a quick little look at Nvidia to see if there was anything going on there. Nvidia is not really catching any sort of shrapnel from any of these plays right now. But yeah, Microsoft. It's a number, it's out, and it is heading lower. I don't know, I'm trying to look for the exact reason why Microsoft is starting to get to the downside. Was it a lower than expected Azure?
Azure was basically flat.
Azure, that's what it was.
It's like there was growth, but it was just the amount of growth we were expecting.
Right, yeah, so Azure, they're generally looking for, I think, a 20% or so growth run rate there on Azure, and then you get to the downside. That's the most competitive spot for Microsoft, right? I mean, because you have AWS, we have the Google Cloud, we have all these other names that are starting to go. I think this is actually a good call.
Amazon's probably.
I think Amazon's probably going to head to the downside on this kind of a story because they're looking for AWS as well. Yeah, there's Amazon down 2% rate now as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Google hits to the downside there, 335. So a little bit on Google, not as much as Amazon. Amazon also down 2%. It's Tesla, right? The Tesla numbers are actually pretty good there. Beats 50 cents, beats 45 cents. Sales beat as well, 24.9 billion versus 24.7 billion. That's a nice downside move there for Tesla. And here it comes right back up.
Seeing this on Optimus, it looks like they're saying Gen 3 Optimus will be unveiled Q1 2026.
That's big, yep.
Cybercab, Tesla Semi, and Megapack 3 on track for 2026 volume. So at least somebody in the Mag 7 is trying to deliver the goods. And it's Elon. Why? Because we're living in his world. And Tesla now to the upside, up 1.5%. I'm still a little bit surprised that Microsoft is down more than Meta here. With that CapEx spend increase, I thought Meta could be down double digits with a number like that.
Yeah, going back to Tesla as well, guys. Gross margin, 20.1% profitability.
Oh, yeah.
Still for Tesla. That's an impressive number still. Operating margin, 5.7%, 2026 product and production updates, as you were just saying. These are all in line with what they announced at the shareholder meeting that they had Q4 last year. So yeah, we're getting a nice pop here. I mean, I'm not seeing much in the way of anything negative there for Tesla. Like almost 3% now higher.
Tesla for me was the name that we were most excited for. I mean, I sort of said that before he went. I thought that Meta would be the lowest. I thought Tesla would be the highest up there. You went with Lam. I don't know if Lam's out yet. We can double check that. But there goes Tesla right now. Yeah, it's continued production. The Tesla Semi as well as the Cybercab, both talking about that commencing H1, first half 2026. Plan to begin Megapack 3 and Mega Block production in Houston in 2026. Gen 3 version of Optimus, we talked about that. Jan 16th, they talked about that. Entered into an agreement to invest $2 billion to acquire shares of XAI as well. So there's some XAI news here with Tesla. So there it goes to the upside. As we already talked, remember guys, Neil, Brendan, and Dara, we had Jensen come on and talk about the stack. And was really impressed with what Tesla had to offer. So nice little upside move there. And IBM, International Business Machines, let's not forget about them. They are now out as well, Adara and everybody. Let's see what IBM is doing. A nice little tick higher. Wow, IBM just goes up to 308. We'll get those numbers for you in just a minute. But yeah, FSD monthly subscriptions, they're talking about that right now. Just released as we parse through those numbers. Yeah. That's it. They're sunsetting the upfront payment option, and they're going to go with a SaaS model here for FSD.
IBM.
Yeah, IBM here, 12% year-over-year increase in revenue to $19.7 billion. Software revenue up 14%. Consulting revenue up 3%. Infrastructure revenue up 21%. We have a 110 basis point increase in their gross margin, and their operating margin increasing here by 120 basis points. For the fiscal year, their revenue was up 8% year-over-year to $67.5 billion. Software revenue up 11%. Consulting revenue up 2%. So year-over-year, or for the year and for the quarter here, IBM, lots of growth.
Meta just
reversed everything.
Meta is a monster right now. Talk about 700. That's coming in right there. So we were like, oh, Meta's one of the weaker ones. Nah, there it is, 690 right now as Meta just gets right back there to the upside, man. Yeah, better Q1 sales number for Meta. Spending is out of control, but that doesn't matter. There it goes, man. 690 to the upside. You know, spending billions of dollars.
It does. You spend more than you need to. Monetize. You're not monetizing yet. Who cares? Let's just go to the upside. Let's just buy the dip. That 200 period moving out, you're gone through that. The 680's gone on Meta. I'm surprised by this. I think it could just be a case of, well, if they're not going to punish it, because it wasn't really down all that much, maybe this is just one of those, well, if we're not going to break support, then we just have to head to the upside. Why not? I mean, I'm loving it. If you're a shareholder, you like it, but I'm a little bit surprised by this because that was a big 115 to 130 when we're talking about the CapEx spend. It was a huge number when you think the market's spooked out of it and we're looking for closer to 100. That's wild that they're buying this one up, but it just goes to show sometimes the strong market's a strong market.
115 to 135 for anyone who missed it there. 115 to 135, 2026 CapEx spend. It was, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe it was below 115 was the initial that they provided for everyone. So yeah, well above on the spend. But as Sean said, who cares? Spend more money, clearly. That's what the market wants to see. Just seeing Microsoft shows gain on OpenAI investment after restructuring as cloud growth slows as well. The XAI, you mentioned as well, Adara, the XAI angle here, again, if you missed it for Tesla, Tesla investing directly into XAI, which the market itself obviously going to take as a positive.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great look there. Tesla apparently investing $2 billion in XAI. They're going to be acquiring $2 billion of preferred stock in XAI. I'm just working here on an infographic for you guys, just updating Microsoft's performance. But I think part of it, Brendo and everybody, the reason Microsoft got hit so hard is because a lot of their segment growth is it's basically flat quarter over quarter. And in the case of more personal computing, it actually declined year over year. So I think that's the issue here with MSFT. We talked about Azure. Azure is basically flat here quarter over quarter, and it's in line with estimates. But I think the issue too is just that's the case for pretty much all of their segments. There's just not a lot of strong segment growth with MSFT. Yeah. And we know with this company being competitive with the likes of Amazon, et cetera, that's going to be a bad look. But I do have one other thing I want to say quickly. And again, we'll have this visual out very soon. But last quarter, the remaining performance obligations for cloud were at 51%. Now they're at 110%. So I think this might be a bit of an Oracle situation where you have a lot of obligations going forward. You're just not showing quite as much of it in the current quarter.
Yeah, and might take a little bit of a deep dive to come across some of those details as well. The guys on the midday show were talking about Las Vegas and the lack of interest in going to Las Vegas. Here's LVS right now. Just jumped off a cliff as well. Looks like revenue $3.65 billion versus $3.34 billion. Net income $448 million, pre-tax profit $551 million, operating profit $707 million versus $806 million expected. So LVS downside here, guys. Obviously not catching a lot of volume though.
I think also you got to consider also the Chinese aspect of that as well, right? With less people traveling right now, they have Macau. Wynn probably getting the downside as well. We call up Wynn down now 2% as well on that one. Vegas is fun times. I mean, this is the time to travel there. It's not as warm anymore. But maybe Vegas is losing some of the luster because now you're seeing a lot of these major fights, starting to happen. There's a few fights in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, all these kind of places. Maybe Las Vegas is starting to lose some of their luster here as far as like the place to go. But yeah, down 5%.
Macau is legitimate. It's a place to be. Maybe ever since Mo Green when sleeping with the fishes, and that's the problem. But it's a huge breakdown. Now 7% down for LVS, and I don't see any way that that's going to be changing. But IBM, as you said, absolutely flying to the upside. A monster for IBM, and you get the divvy. With that.
Yeah, 452 versus 432 on IBM, up 7%. We really like this name, a name that you can see what the Nasdaq has done here. Had a nice little dip down into 629, now back up to 634. Nice move there for IBM. For the futures, but IBM helping this move as well. Seeing a full year revenue expectations, 70.9 billion versus 70.1 billion. So IBM beat top and bottom, and a good guide there for IBM. But let's go back and check on Tesla just real quick. It's having a problem at 450. If we're going to go to the daily chart on Tesla, it's had a problem at 450, earnings or not. So that's going to be an interesting level tomorrow to see if we can sort of crack through here, guys. $450 on Tesla. It looks like they got the number. It's a good one there, up 3%. I think this is pretty much as expected. Most of these names were between 4 to 5, 6% expected move, and it looks like that's true here for Tesla.
3-ish right now, so we're thereabouts. But I was just reading here, guys. Tesla topping estimates for the quarter, but wrapping up its first annual revenue decline ever. So the overall yearly performance, not as good. But I think, that was expected. We were talking a little bit about that this morning on the show, mentioning the simple fact that everyone's focusing on, as they are coming out with more comments about the robotic side, the XAI side of things, and less about the actual car business here. Yeah, volume on these, less than impressive as well.
I just feel like when we got what we wanted here out of Tesla, I don't know, this might be a little bit underwhelming of a move. Like, did we really think that we were going to get that focus on the robotaxi and the Optimus update, and then I'd be staring at a better looking IBM chart? That's not what I was expecting. 7% on IBM and you're breaking out highs. I kind of thought, okay, if Tesla was going to distinguish itself from the crowd tonight, then we'd be doing more than just sitting up 3% here. So there's a lot of room to go before I think we're doing any parades here for Tesla. But we have to remember, this is a leadership-driven company, and sometimes what gets said during the conference call is going to matter a heck of a lot more. So so far so good, but when we get Elon on the mic, maybe that's when push comes to shove.
Worth noting, guys, here on Robinhood, Derry, you had this as well, apparently saying that they're vying for a key retail role in the mega SpaceX IPO due this year. They were talking earlier today about June.
Yeah, for Elon's birthday. So that's apparently, allegedly, why they're going to do it in June, which honestly is very on track with Elon. I know he was doing the robo-taxis around his birthday too. So this is very much in character. Again, this Robinhood not confirmed. Bloomberg, I'm now seeing, is reporting this, but just worth noting. I also want to let you guys know, I did mention Microsoft. Here's actually like an up-to-date from this quarter breakdown of its segment performance. And I do want to talk about this because more personal computing revenue down 3% year over year. Again, obviously the best year over year gains are for that Microsoft Cloud remaining performance obligations, up 110% year over year. But if you look at this infographic compared to the prior one that I posted, which as always you can find at X at TTV Research, a lot of these revenue category growths, they're either like stagnant on a quarter over quarter basis, or they're actually worse on a quarter over quarter basis. So again, you can check that out, X at TTV Research.
Did get a little bit of a move here on Robinhood to the upside. We're coming right back in now, but that's obviously going to be a huge gain for them if they do come through on that retail side of things. Anyways, for the SpaceX IPO, just seeing, guys, Tesla's robotaxi fleet has cumulatively driven 650,000 miles since June of last year. So 650,000 miles. I think people were looking more specifically about a timeline for the unsupervised side. We're starting to see that slowly roll out, but so that's a big number, 650,000 miles cumulatively, the entire fleet since June.
Yeah, it's a great milestone for them. And like you said, we just want to see updates and progress. Ultimately, I think people get caught up with when Elon makes a prediction and gives a date. nobody cares about this whole nonsense of, oh, well, Elon Musk will throw a date out there and it never gets met. Okay, fine, we know that. We just want to see progress in the right direction, and which is exactly what you're sort of seeing here with Tesla, because we've moved on from the auto numbers, which, by the way, we keep saying they've moved on from being an auto company. Well, who else outside of Chinese names are actually able to make anything on their EVs? Who are able to get you into their ecosystem? It is Tesla at the end of the day. So yeah, my only disappointment is it's only up 3%. I think that's kind of the issue here for me. If I'm not sounding overly optimistic, you can't tell me after what we just saw out of Meta that I expected to basically see similar moves on the two of them, when I think Tesla looks like they had the better story to tell here today. Like the one thing we're looking for on Meta not to happen, happened, and the stock still goes up. Tesla said pretty much what we wanted to hear, and we'll have to wait for Elon. Yeah, but we're just a kind of timid reaction. Like I said, IBM is the one that seems like it's ruling the day here, and I did not think
it's,
that
what is it, 4:30 or 5? I mean, we're going to get the conference call, right? I mean, I think it was on track with everything as far as we already talked about it. It's the robo-taxis, it's this mega pack, it's cyber cabs. All of these are ready to go first half 2026, which is right now. So they're ready to mass produce all of this. And I think that's going to be really exciting. And the 650,000 miles, I don't know if it said, Brendan, if there's any accidents or anything associated with that, but I can tell you right now it's probably safer than humanoid driving. But this is the reversal in the Nasdaq. They like that call. Most of this is Meta, of course, because Tesla didn't really have a huge move down and up other than the algo spike initially, but the Nasdaq is right back. And I just want to say something about Robinhood. What I think this can wind up doing for Robinhood is just bring more eyeballs into their platform, because what Robinhood's basically going to try to do, from what I can understand, is get some of their members or accounts early access to some of those SpaceX shares, right? And by doing that, of course, you're going to have to deposit money. You're going to have to open up an account, and when you do that, you become a member, or you have an account there, and I think you stay there because it has everything in one.
Everyone complains all the time.
Customer, you're a customer.
Well, people complain all the time. Like, I want to get in. I want to get that IPO issue price. How do I get price? We'll be sitting there trading the IPOs on the show, and we'll see people in the chat saying all the time, "Ooh, I got an allocation of 1 share. I tried to get 100. I got 7." Like, things along those lines. If Robinhood's looking to bring you in by taking the most anticipated IPO ever,
I'll say it.
Show me it. It is ever. Brendan, you're 100% right. Of all time. And saying, hey, we'll give you a piece of the pie, just come on over to us. Oh, and by the way, we're going to be able to file your taxes through Robinhood. Oh, and by the way, you want event betting? You got that too. And there's just a retirement account, crypto. You just, once you're there, you're not going to leave. Old heads like
That's why I like SoFi better, actually.
Well, SoFi's got the bank charter. I'm a big fan of SoFi for those reasons as well. But I think in the future, it's not like us. Like, we have the old Canadian banks. I know a lot of, maybe some of our viewers, you've been sitting with your bank. That's not what the new generation is thinking. And I keep looking back, and it's like, well, why did no one pick these guys up when they saw, when it was a value? It's such an interesting story. I like this for Robinhood. We know it's going to be a major event. I didn't know the thing about Elon's birthday. I think that's absolutely hilarious. Personally, if I was Elon, I would have had the IPO on April 20th, but that's just me.
Yeah, so here's your birthday. Here's a couple more $1 billion off of that IPO. We do have a couple super chats right here. Okay. Vizbot says he covered his Meta short for a profit at 404. So that was good. And he wants to use some of that money to give some memberships out. So thank you so much for that one. There it is, easy peasy. Sean called Tesla. He's 100% on earnings. I am? Okay, well, that's good. Thank you for that one, easy peasy. Vizbot also wants to do some push-ups here with Joe, so that's good. We can get that going. Some of the thanks to some options, this and that. Yeah, you want to fight him now? I mean, this guy's just doing. Wait till he's
Joe's on crutches, guys.
Wait till he's healed up there. But thank you, Easy Peasy and Vizbot, for all of that. And yeah, look, I mean, I didn't think it was rocket science. I thought Tesla, did have some exciting moments about it. And earnings calls are what they are, right? I mean, we weren't expecting. I actually wasn't expecting an EPS beat, to be honest with you. But Tesla does put that out. We have revenue down there as 24.8 billion. So coming through there, switching in the background. Look at that background. Wow, that is violent, boy. Like all that switching back and forth. It's quite nice. But I love the fact that we have all this right there behind us. Satcha. By the way, here it is right now, guys. Come to my screen. Meta 700 is incoming. It's breaking right now. The high is, I don't know if we got to this 701 and change, but we're right here right now, $700. What a day for Meta. You know, all fears sort of put aside. We know they're still spending. There's 701 coming in there right now. I was going to say tomorrow's trade today, Meta 700, but it's happening right now. We saw what happened when Intel broke through $50 and it was really downside from there. Where can Meta go, you might be asking? How about just back here? What about 750? Maybe this is a big quarter for them. We'll hear if Zuckerberg gets on that call or not. Like to hear about where they're planning on spending all that 135. We'll see if that goes right into Nvidia's GPU chips, what they're planning on doing with it, Llama, so on and so forth. It's going to be a big day tomorrow.
Well, you can also go along the board and just check out all the memory chip names that have ticked up today with this crazy CapEx spend. You know what that's going to mean. I mean, look, we still have this SNDK tomorrow. They're going to have their own report for sure, and same with Western Digital. But this CapEx spend, if the market's not going to punish Meta for it, then you're not going to punish the Broadcoms of the world. You're not going to punish the Nvidias of the world. You're not going to punish all these the memory chip names as well. And by the way, Microsoft is even catching a bid here.
I was just going to say, just buy Nvidia clearly, because as you guys are saying, like, I mean, most of that's probably going to go to them still. So we won't hear from them for another month or so, but I mean, hearing from all the customers first is a good indication here. Just checking or double checking here, we'll actually hear potentially from Zuck first. Meta, the call 4:30, and then Microsoft and Tesla both scheduled for 5:30. So why don't we do just a quick wrap up here? Dara, give us a broad strokes look at the three main ones once again. We'll give some predictions for tomorrow and get out of here.
Yeah, we'll be quick here. I'll start with TSLA because I think this one was pretty interesting. And as you know, we mentioned, kind of shocking, they actually had a double beat, though their annual revenue declining, auto revenue declining year over year a little bit, unfortunately, and also quarter over quarter. But again, they're going to be taking that stake here, $2 billion stake in XAI, which is pretty massive, and another Elon Musk company. So nice look for them there. For TSLA, also announcing some robotaxi and other product timelines. Timelines Tesla always a little bit dicey, but nice look there for them. META, struggling at least initially a little bit here because they do come out and guide well above expected for CapEx. It was like, I believe, 115 to 135 billion. We were expecting 110 billion. So that's going to be more or less, right? So that's going to be obviously higher than expected. They also missed Reality Labs earnings and then reported a larger than expected Reality Labs loss. So in my opinion, a double miss on Reality Labs, though their guidance for Q1 revenue around 55 billion versus 51 billion expected. Microsoft double beat, much like the other two Make 7 names that reported tonight. The issue with MSFT was that a lot of their segment earnings were either right in line with estimates or actually declining year over year. So quick Adara eidetic memory recap of earnings.
Nice, well done. Yeah, I mean, we're taking out that 5% right now for Meta. Microsoft as well, still chopping around, but trying to push back to the upside. What do we do tomorrow here, guys? I mean, a lot of these going to be in places they haven't been for a long time.
Especially Meta. I mean, Meta's the one that's giving you the biggest surprise. Like, as good as Tesla was, we're not anywhere near on Tesla. Anything can happen during the call. But as of right now, it seems to me of the three, Meta is the most interesting one by far. And don't sleep on this Robinhood. You know, a couple of good stories here. I think that could be a nice mover as well. And then remember the sympathy plays and some of the memory chip names, all looking very, very strong. But yeah, Meta really stand out.
You asked me what the play is for tomorrow? 5-star banger, 5-star recruit coming tomorrow. This play right here, Nvidia. Check the chart. I don't know if we have, what chart are you guys showing up there? That's not my chart. But right here, 194 and change for NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA up here, up 2.5%, Brendan. Neil Adara, I think NVIDIA is the real winner in all of this. I mean, sure, the stocks will go where they go, but here, okay, there you go on my screen. There's NVIDIA. Look at that level right there. Looks like we're trying to break back to the upside. And as Brendan said, we're a month away from NVIDIA earnings. You want to be short this thing, heading into Amazon, heading into Google, really, you know, so let's see what winds up happening here. And I think Apple tomorrow will be a really interesting call as well. We'll see where they wind up printing. But yeah, Meta 700, great talk. And then Tesla 450. Let's hit some key levels tomorrow morning. And I'm excited for it. As you can see, the energy's not stopping. We're really, really, drinking the Kool-Aid here in the tech land. I mean, it's still upside. The Nasdaq, look at the
Nasdaq
Qs.
cannot be stopped.
Look at the Qs. The Qs just straight up fire right now. The Qs go down to 629. Now just bang, straight up, like 30 minutes of nothing but upside printing right now on the Nasdaq. And Tesla won't slow down either. We'll see if it hits that 450 marker, hovering around 443.
Yeah, just to recap for anyone sticking around still, 5:30, the earnings calls for both Tesla and Microsoft. Whether or not we get any more significant details out of those remains to be seen. Meta going to be coming up here in just a matter of moments. What a day for the overall market here. We get the Fed, we get the start of mega cap tech earnings. I mean, Apple tomorrow, as the guys were saying, but I mean, if we continue in this general direction, I said this the second I sat down here this afternoon with you. Yeah. I've seen a lot of Fed days. That was the least volatile Fed day I think I've ever witnessed as far as the overall market is concerned.
Yeah, just to watch the market, it was like, like it was flatlining. I had the Qs on my screen the whole time, and I was kind of like, what's going on here, right? And I think, too, with regards to just the way other stocks are moving, as I mentioned to you off camera, usually you'll get the stocks all kind of moving in tandem, but we had things that were completely on their own, not even stories with particularly strong catalyst, right? So I think in that case, it's just the market did not care that much about what Fed Chair Jerome Powell had to say, other than when metals were brought up, or certain things about we're not going to hike rates, which again we've heard before. Felt a lot of like greatest hits of J Powell today, just a lot of repeating of things we've heard prior.
He overall kind of seemed like he didn't really feel it anymore. Like
no.
His patience was definitely on the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
But I don't know, guys. Final thoughts here, and we'll call it a day.
I think his brother just came me a coffee, so I got to say,
late for coffee, man.
Shout out to him. No,
It is late for coffee. You don't need a coffee right now because that reversal in Meta has got to wake you up. If you didn't get woken up by that reversal in Meta, then I don't know what you need.
Highs. Day highs right now.
I forgot about everyone's bedtime.
For Meta, Microsoft trying to chop around here. It is trying to get higher, but not really doing a heck of a lot. Tesla, not much either.
Put some ones in the chat, everybody. Let us know you like the show. Ones, let us know that, and we get this chat going a little bit there. Yeah, true Italian. Right, we're just espresso right now. What are we even talking about? But yeah, nice move today. Look, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a big day tomorrow. Lots of stuff to trade. There's everybody in the chat. Thanks so much. Oh, the chat is going absolutely nuts right now. I don't know what's showing
Obi
there.
in the house.
But there's Obi's here.
Obi just it was real quick, but I saw the ones from Obi with.
Here, come to my screen right here. This is going insane. Forget about that. You can't even see that one. Lots of ones. Look at it. Look at it. We can't even slow this down right into there. So thank you to everybody for joining us today. It was a big one, and we want to thank everybody. And guess what? We're doing it tomorrow. 4 o'clock. You gonna join us tomorrow, Adara? 4 o'clock.
Of course, without a doubt.
We will be here. We will be here tomorrow morning to.
Nice vest, Brendan. Nice vest.
Right?
Oh, we're both vesting up here.
Shout out to ICE.
You guys are investing up there.
We will be here to talk about what happens in the morning as well, with all three of these moving around, continuing, hopefully after these earnings calls. So join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll continue the conversation. We'll bring you Apple after the close tomorrow. Another big day ahead. Thanks for all for hanging out this afternoon. We will catch you.
At a 7:10.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Mark.
Unreal.
At a 7:10.